Good evening. It's Monday evening. This is over and over and over again. My name is Richard. This is Matchday Live, FA Cup action for you. Oxford United against Arsenal. It's going to be a really intense game, isn't it? It's going to be an interesting game. Let's see if Arsenal can get through, or will we fall victim to one of the shocks that's gone on over this FA Cup third round weekend. Let's hope not. It's all coming up the other side of this. Real Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seems it. So it's FA Cup third round, Arsenal versus Oxford United from the Kassam Stadium. Our first ever visit to this ground, actually, after all these years of playing against Oxford. If you remember back in the day, we've never actually won away at Oxford in our history. We've only played on five previous occasions, and we've never won. We haven't even scored on our last three visits to Oxford. They were all at the Manor Ground, of course, not here at the Kassam. We have got the team news for you. There is actually 7 changes for Arsenal. So this is our Arsenal lineup tonight. Then in goal, it's the American Matt Turner. The back four, Takahiro Tomiyasu, Rob Holding, Gabriel and Kieran Tierney. In midfield, Mohamed Elneny, Sambi Lokonga, Fabio Vieira. And up front, it is the usual front three. So it's Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, either side of Eddie Nketiah. So 7 changes for Arsenal, wearing the all-white kit again tonight. On the bench then for Arsenal, pretty strong bench actually. It's Carl Hein at the goalkeeper. Then it's Ben White, Alexander Zinchenko, Granit Xhaka, Thomas Partey, Martin Odegaard, Emil Smith-Rowe back on the bench. Good to see him fit again. Mark Wios and Nathan Butler-Ayeji. So that is the Arsenal lineup for Oxford. Then they've only made 2 changes from their 1-0 defeat on New Year's Day to Exeter. In goal, it's Ed McGinty. Their back four is Javran Anderson, Elliot Moore, who's their captain, Sam Long and Kieran Brown. In midfield, Marcus McGann, Lewis Bates, who's on loan from Leeds, and Cameron Brannigan, of course, former Liverpool player. And up front, Billy Bowden, Matty Taylor and Josh Murphy. It's Bowden and Murphy who are the 2 changes in the front three tonight for Oxford. On the bench for them, it's goalkeeper Simon Eastwood. It is Brandon Fleming, Stuart Finley, Joshua Johnson, Tyler Goodrum, Stefan Negru, Yannick Wildshoot, Johan Sade and Gaitlin O'Donker. So they are your teams then for this game. So I say quite a few changes there for Arsenal. 7, in fact, from the game against Newcastle last week. Of course, that 0-0 draw. I don't know whether Mikel Arteta watched my preview video of this game, but I did kind of predict a very similar lineup actually to the one that he's chosen. So I wasn't expecting Saka and Martinelli to play. I thought perhaps Manquillos and Smith-Rowe would play, but other than that, it's pretty much the side I selected. So me and Mikel for once are on the same wavelength, which is good to see, isn't it? And let's hope that this team, I mean, they should be good enough to win this game, let's be honest. I don't like that midfield. El Neni and Lokonga doesn't tend to work. Yes, the standard of the opposition, maybe it'll be fine for tonight, but I don't like that midfield. It's a big night for Fabio Vieira. He's been a bit hit and miss since we signed him in the summer. Obviously a very talented player. He's got an opportunity tonight, hasn't he, to try and make a mark and say he perhaps deserves a few more minutes in the Premier League. But a big night for him. And I say in defence, Tomiyasu's back at right back, starting a game for the first time in a little while. So it's good to see him back. Kieran Tierney at left back as well. And Rob Holding, of course, we know his limitations, but he can be a very good defender on his day, can't he? We don't know that much about Oxford. They're struggling a bit this season. They have reached the playoffs for League One in the last 2 years. So it's a bit of a disappointing season for them so far, but they're definitely going to be up for this game. A sellout crowd at the Kassam Stadium. The place will be bouncing if they can get a good start. But yeah, they've got a couple of players that we may have heard of. I say Cameron Brannigan used to play for Liverpool, of course. He did make 3 appearances in the Premier League, so he's got some experience. Billy Bowden as well. Now, a little bit about him, the Welshman playing in the front three tonight. He is going to be a threat as well. And of course, Lewis Bates from from Leeds in midfield, a good young player. So we'll have to look out for him as well. So yeah, that is this is going to be a strange game tonight, isn't it? You know, we've seen a couple of shocks over this weekend already. Of course, Newcastle went out to Sheffield Wednesday, are also in League One like Oxford. The difference is Sheffield Wednesday are flying high in that division in the top three, whereas Oxford, as I say, are struggling down in 15th place actually. So not having the best of seasons after the last couple of years where they've just missed out in the playoffs of getting into the Championship. So it's definitely going to be an interesting game, isn't it? And I think that Oxford will try and certainly keep themselves in the game for as long as they can tonight. And who knows? I mean, FA Cup shocks happen, don't they? We've been on the wrong end of one or two over the years, haven't we? Of course, everyone remembers Wrexham from 1991, probably our biggest shock, certainly of modern times. In the FA Cup. So yeah, we've had our own shocks before, haven't we? So the important thing is to avoid that tonight. I mean, the side that we've got is a strong enough team, let's be honest, to win against moderate League One opposition. But the FA Cup sometimes throws up these strange results, doesn't it? It throws up these shocks, and you know, I say it's a big, noisy crowd at Oxford, and it is a city we've never won in before. So you know, it's going to be difficult. It is going to be difficult. I'm certainly not going to be taking it for granted that we're definitely going to win. But obviously, I expect us to win. In the end, I think we'll have too much quality for Oxford, and I think we'll probably come through maybe 2-0. I don't think it's going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think we'll win. And I do think we'll be in that fourth round. And of course, it would be another away trip to a team that are a little bit better than Oxford, perhaps Manchester City, of course, in round 4, which will be... I look on that as a good opportunity for us. You know, if you're going to win the FA Cup, you're probably going to have to beat at least one of the big teams somewhere along the line, maybe more than one. So to get one out of the way early on would be a big sort of scout for us, wouldn't it? Of course, it's difficult, but if we're going to play Man City at some point, let's play them early, get it out of the way. If we win, we're through, and that's one of the big boys out of the way, isn't it? Which makes our run then a little bit easier. But we have to get through this game first. You know, we're certainly not going to be taking this for granted tonight at all. I say we've seen plenty of shocks over this weekend. We've been involved, I say, in plenty of shocks over the years. So we just want to get this game done. It's a bit of a tricky tie. You know, it's never easy, is it, playing away at these lower league teams, because they're so bang up for the game, aren't they? So it's going to be interesting to see the contrast in styles. You know, a League One team. We saw what Sheffield Wednesday did to Newcastle at the weekend. So that's our warning for us. Rob Holding, by the way, is captain for Arsenal tonight, all in this white kit. Clearly, they've not learnt anything from last season when we played Nottingham Forest in the all-white kit. The only other time we've worn it, and we did lose 1-0 in that game. So let's hope that it can bring us a little bit more luck tonight than it certainly did last year. Of course, it is for the No More Red campaign, anti-knife crime campaign at Arsenal launching, which is a great campaign. I just don't feel that this kit has been particularly lucky for us in the past. The teams are coming out now. Oxford in their traditional yellow and blue kit. Of course, they had their heyday, didn't they, back in the 1980s when they were in the first division for 3 seasons and gave us a few beatings, didn't they? I remember them knocking us out of the League Cup at the old Manor Ground back in 1984. They beat us 3-2 on that particular night. A really poor Arsenal performance. I seem to remember Pat Jennings throwing one in his own net in that particular game. But yeah, obviously that's a long time ago, different era, different teams, different football, but just a little bit of history there for you. We've got Nathan in the chat. My new friend Nathan, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. He says, hi, Paul, looking forward to your commentary. Good to see you. Good to meet you today as well at work, so that was nice. Hopefully it'll be a good game and you'll enjoy it. And let's hope Arsenal can get the victory, and then it will set up that big tie, won't it, in the fourth round, first against second in the Premier League. What a game that'll be. But I say we need to get through this first, and we've seen plenty of shock results. So we certainly, I'm not going to take it for granted, but I say we should win. Pretty strong Arsenal team overall, and it's a team I was expecting a little bit stronger than I was expecting, because I wasn't expecting Saka or Martinelli to be playing. So I think that, yes, the options that we've got in those positions, Smith Rowe is on the bench. I think Arteta was a little bit worried if he was quite ready to go straight into the starting lineup. But maybe I understand that as well. I think that's probably a sensible decision, actually, if I'm totally honest. But we'll see. I'm sure he'll come on later on in the evening should we need a goal or two later on. So we'll see what happens there. But I say we've got a very strong bench with the likes of Granit Xhaka, Thomas Partey, Ben White, Zinchenko on the bench, and say Smith Rowe, Manquillos as well, Martin Odegaard. So it's a strong bench. It's there for backup, isn't it, if needed. Let's hope they aren't needed. And the team on the pitch, some of them, I say, have got a big point to prove, haven't they? If they want to be getting more minutes in the Premier League, which I'm sure they do, they're going to have to produce a performance here tonight in very, very difficult conditions. It's a strange ground at Kassam Stadium. Behind one of the goals, there isn't any seats or any fans. It's just a car park. So it seemed like a good idea at the time to build a stadium, but they didn't quite get it finished. And I'm sure it'll be nice when it's done. But it's been over 20 years since it was built and opened. So I'm not quite sure where that stand is. But maybe one day, if they manage to get themselves promoted up the leagues, who knows? Perhaps they will eventually finish the ground and complete that full stand behind the goal, which I say currently is a car park. It looks as though that's going to be the goal in the first half. Arsenal will be defending. So we will see. The Arsenal fans are going to be on this near side in that bottom corner. That's where the away fans are at the Kassam Stadium. So we're just about to get underway here. I say Arsenal in the all-white kit and Oxford in their traditional kit. So Arsenal in goal, Matt Turner, back four, Kieran Tierney, Gabriel, Rob Holding and Takehiro Tomiyasu. In the midfield, Fabio Vieira, Mohamed Elneny, Sambi Lokonga, and then up front, Bukayo Saka, Eddie Nketiah and Gabriel Martinelli. So that is the Arsenal team. So Arsenal will be attacking the goal to our right in this first half, which is, I say, that end with the car park and Oxford in their yellow and blue kit. It was quite a smart kit, isn't it? And it's going to be, it looks like they might be well playing with a front two of Billy Bowden and Matty Taylor, which could be interesting. It'll certainly be a contrast in styles tonight, won't it? The pitch seems to be reasonable condition. It's got, looks to be a little bit patchy actually in places, but I suppose for a League One ground. We are actually off and underway. Oxford coming forward straight away, a ball up that far side, but it's headed out there by Takehiro Tomiyasu, but Oxford pick it up again in defence. Actually, the pitch looks very bobbly, which could be an issue for Arsenal tonight. We like a nice smooth surface, don't we, to try to play our football. So that's a little bit of a disadvantage to us, isn't it? We've got Paul there in the chat. He says, Newcastle United fan here, just had a wee bit on the game, so thought I'd find a watch-along trophy. Yes, but yeah, I mean, hopefully you put a bet on Arsenal to win. I hope you did anyway, but I'm sure you'll get more money on Oxford winning. I'm sure you will, but we'll see. I mean, I know you guys came a cropper, didn't you, at the weekend to a League One side, although Sheffield Wednesday are a lot better than Oxford, certainly on paper. I know it doesn't quite work like that, but we'll see. Anyway, Oxford are coming forward sort of coming forward up this near side, but Arsenal win the ball back with Fabio Vieira does well actually, but Oxford are, they're pressing us pretty high up the pitch and winning the ball back well. That's a long ball up this near side. So headed there by Rob Holding into the centre circle, and Arsenal just looking to maybe get a little bit of a grip on things at the minute, which they're maybe struggling to do. Terry's in the chat. How you doing, Terry? Good to see you. He says, good evening, Richard. Must win tonight so we can make a statement against Man City in the next round. Evening all in the chat coming to guns. Yeah, I mean, exactly that's what I want. I want us to, people saying, oh, let's lose to Oxford because it's only Man City next. No, let's win tonight. Let's get through and let's give Man City a game in the next round. We've got to play them 3 times now in the rest of the season if we get through tonight, and we've got an opportunity to say that this is a different Arsenal side in the last few years when we've got to Man City and got turned over quite easily, 5, 6, 7 years in a row, hasn't it, since we last even got a draw there. So, it's a big opportunity for us in that next round. But I'm not going to think too much about that now. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. This is going to be a very difficult game. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And certainly these first 2 minutes, it hasn't been a very good, decent start from Arsenal. Say the pitch looks very bobbly, which I think is going to cause us problems. Anyway, Kieran Tierney then wins the ball, plays it forward to up that line. Suddenly, there's a little bit of space there for Sambi Lokonga it was, but Oxford picked the ball up again. They've actually started well. They're putting us under pressure when we've got the ball, winning it back very early, and now they're in possession themselves, coming forward. It's up this near side with Kieran Brown, plays it back to the centre half, Sam Long, and plays it square into the feet of Cameron Brannigan, who's got Premier League experience, so he'll know what it's about tonight, won't he? I don't think he played against Arsenal in his 3 Premier League appearances for Liverpool, but he will certainly know what it takes to play in the Premier League against Premier League players, won't he? So he's probably going to be the player to watch for them. Rob Holding's now in possession with his nice new hair. Oh, that's a poor ball given away by Fabio Vieira. Oh, it was straight there into the path of Marcus McGuinn, but he just overrun it a little bit, and it did run through to Matt Turner. A bit of a sloppy pass there from Fabio Vieira, gave the ball away. It is up the other end of the pitch now with goalkeeper Ed McGurty for Oxford. He clears it long, but it's going to go out for a throw to Arsenal on this near side. Arsenal's right. Mikel Arteta's got the ball in his hands outside of his technical area. Carl Robertson, of course, is the Oxford manager, famous manager from the lower leagues, isn't he? MK Dons he was at for a long time, wasn't he? Had a lot of success with him, didn't he, back in the day? And he's done a good job at Oxford. This season they've struggled a bit though, but I said the last 2 seasons they have reached the playoff. Rob Holding now in possession for Arsenal, midway inside Arsenal's half, plays it square to Gabriel, brings the ball forward towards halfway, just holds it up slightly and then plays it into the centre circle. Mohamed El Neni wearing gloves and short sleeves, which I always find a little bit of a strange combination. Anyway, on this near side now, it is Bukayo Saka, plays the ball up line. Martinelli's made a run across the pitch over to this near side. It's going to be a throw to Arsenal in line with the Oxford penalty area. It's Oxford 0, Arsenal 0. We've played 4 minutes at the Kassam Stadium. El Neni now coming forward down this near side, finds Bukayo Saka, but he loses out, and now Oxford have got a little bit of possession here, but the referee gets in the way of that attempted pass from Taylor, and it is going to be a free kick to Oxford just inside at the centre circle. The referee, by the way, is David Coote, Premier League referee, of course, in this game. Of course, there'll be no VAR or anything like that because it's not in a Premier League stadium, is it? Which is very, very strange goings on in the FA Cup. You get VAR in some games and not in others. It just seems to be a little bit of a strange situation, really, doesn't it? Anyway, there isn't no VAR tonight, so it's a bit of a throwback to the days when referees and linesmen had to make decisions for themselves. So it'd be interesting to see if how that goes. But so far, nothing really to worry the referee or the linesman at this point in the game. It's still a very, very scrappy at this moment in time. Arsenal haven't settled at all, and a lot of changes to the team, which clearly doesn't help. Anyway, Sambi Lokonga's conceded a free kick over on that far side, and Oxford now in possession with their captain Elliot Moore, plays it back to Sam Long, and that's a long ball from Sam Long up the middle of the pitch, looking for the run there of Matty Taylor, but Arsenal just about deal with that. A long ball forward, it's a long aimless ball, and it's just going to run all the way through to goalkeeper Ed McGinty, the Irishman. Not the greatest start from Arsenal tonight, has to be said, but it's just a matter of settling into this game, isn't it? And we'll see. I say Arsenal are attacking the goal where there is fans behind it. They are Oxford fans. And I'll say the other goal that Matt Turner's defending is a car park behind him. So it'll actually literally be, if someone shoots over the bar, they have fired a shot into the car park, which we say sometimes when it isn't actually a car park, but this one it is. Rob Holding's won that header again, heads the ball forward, but again there's no Arsenal player there, and it's going to be nice and easy for Elliot Moore. Plays the ball over the top. Actually, it's quite a good ball, but looking again for Matty Taylor, who's looking pretty dangerous, but he couldn't get on the end of it. Actually, sorry, no, that was Billy Bowden, actually. He sounds like a player from the 1930s, doesn't he, Billy Bowden? I mean, he probably is. Or maybe his dad or granddad was. So he says, talking of MK Dons, did you see Keith Curl yesterday? Don't look no different, just a bit of grey. Yeah, no, Keith Curl used to be manager of Carlisle United. I used to do a bit of work for Carlisle United at their matches. And he was manager there for a while. And yeah, he's in good shape, isn't he, Keith Curl, still? You know, a long time since he gave up playing, but yeah, he does still look good indeed. Anyway, Oxford coming forward now over on that far side. They're looking very dangerous actually in this early part of this game. Across in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, but Matt Turner's there. A comfortable catch there for the American goalkeeper. And Arsenal trying to play out for it. But again, Oxford pressing us high up the pitch. They've done that well. Clearly, Carl Robertson has decided that obviously they can't let us settle, because if they do, they're in big trouble. And that's what they've done, and they've done well so far. Kevin's in the chat. How you doing, Kevin? Good to see you, my friend. He says, evening, Richard. I think that's wrong in the same competition, different rules, i.e. VAR. Yeah, in some games are not. Should be all playing under the same rule. Exactly, yeah. I mean, I suppose when you think that the FA Cup is open to clubs at all levels, isn't it, down grassroots level and stuff like that, who don't have VAR, they shouldn't have VAR in any of the games. That should be the way it is, because most of the teams that enter the FA Cup don't have access to VAR. It's only the very few at the top. So, yeah, there shouldn't be any VAR in any of them. But, yeah, I agree. It's crazy that they're using it in some games and not in others. Just makes no sense whatsoever. You either do it. But, Saka's got clear away down his near side. Pulls the ball back. Oh, it was a foul. It was a foul there on Kieran Brown. Saka's saying it was a shoulder barge. It did look like a foul, if we're totally honest. And it was Yeah, it was a foul. I don't think there's any much doubt about that. But Saka trying to get in behind Kieran Brown now, the left back for Oxford. They just brought a new left back actually in this last week or so as well. Johan Sade for the Israeli, but he's on the bench for them tonight, a new signing for Oxford. He's going to be a goal kick, free kick on his near side. Goalkeeper Ed McGinty's going to take this for Oxford. We've played 8.5 minutes at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford 0, Arsenal 0. Very, very scrappy start to this game, it has to be said. And Oxford will be quite happy with that. I'm sure they want it to be as scrappy as possible. Anyway, Tomiyasu then plays the ball back to goalkeeper Matt Turner. And he just rolls it out square to Gabriel, the Brazilian, just outside the Arsenal penalty area. Plays it square to Rob Holding. Still can't get used to Rob Holding with all that hair that he's got. Anyway, it's a long ball played forward. A good ball as well. Finds Eddie Nketiah. He's got Gabriel Martinelli outside him over on that far side. Arsenal's left, cuts inside. Plays at the ball back to Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney's gone and got it back again. Kieran Tierney on his near side, but he couldn't quite get there. Good defending, actually. Again, by that was by Javron Anderson there. Good play from Kieran Tierney, though. Got himself forward down that left-hand side. Played a 1-2 with Gabriel Martinelli. Couldn't quite get there to put the cross in. It was good defending, but it's a corner to Arsenal over on that far side. The first corner of the game. Terry says, what was you at Carlisle United there? Poster boy, Albert. No, I just used to do... I used to cover their matches for a local paper, that was all. It used to be good fun. And a great club, Carlisle United. I really do like everybody at Carlisle United. They're such a great club. Anyway, it's a corner to Arsenal over on that far side. Fabio Villa with it towards the near post. It's flicked on. Again, Oxford managed to clear it away, not for very long. Sambi Lakonga plays it back to Vieira. Cross comes into the near post. I think it got a deflection. It has got a deflection. It's going to be another corner to Arsenal over on that far side. We've played 10 minutes. And Arsenal now have got a second corner in a row. That cross from Fabio Vieira was just deflected behind, and it is so another corner to Arsenal. Looking for the early goal, which really would settle us down. So this scrappy start, but it's Vieira with this corner from that far side towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Headed out, good defensive header that was there by Kieran Brown. Arsenal getting possession. That goes out to that far side. Back again at 2. Fabio Vieira's left foot. Plays the ball towards the far post. Another good defensive header again by Brown. But it's gone out for a throw to Arsenal, which Gabriel is going to take unusually. I don't know what he's doing, taking a throw over on this near side. He leaves it instead for Bukayo Saka. And he actually leaves it for Takahiro Tomiyasu. It's pass to parcel at the moment for this throw. But it's going to be Tomiyasu with it. Throws it towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed on by Eddie Nketiah, but straight out for a goal kick. Wasn't great play that from Eddie at all, unfortunately. Rajandra's in the chat. How you doing, Rajandra? Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are well. It has been quite a scrappy start to this game, hasn't it? Arsenal just trying to settle themselves down. Rob Holding there, maybe claiming he was pulled back in the box there. It wasn't anything near as blatant as the one in the Newcastle game last week. He was never going to get a penalty for that without VAR. If you give penalties for that, you'd be giving 6 penalties every game, wouldn't you? Anyway, the Arsenal fans over on that far side are sold out the allocation in good voice so far in this game. Regina says, I'm great. Good to hear. I'm glad that you're well. Looking forward to a big Sunday, aren't we? The 2 games on Sunday, Arsenal women against Chelsea and the North London derby after that. It's going to be a big day, isn't it, Sunday? Looking forward to that. Arsenal coming forward again over on that far side. Kieran Tierney this time does get a cross in, but it's covered there by Elliot Moore. Good defending again by Oxford, who have certainly looked pretty solid in these opening 12 minutes. Arsenal haven't had an effort on goal yet, so the goalkeeper, Ed McGinty, hasn't had a save to make. Anyway, Kieran Tierney is going to take this throw over on the far side. It's in line with the Oxford penalty area. He's just wiping the ball down with a towel. So perhaps we're going to see a long throw. Thomas Partey has been taking the long throws recently, but Kieran Tierney is going to take this one. Is he going to throw it in towards that near post area? He does, towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's flicked on, and Oxford don't really get it away. They do now. That was a good clearance in the end from Lewis Bates. He's going to be a throw again to Arsenal, this time over on this near side. Fabio Vieira's got the ball. Is he going to take it, or is he going to leave it for Bukayo Saka? He leaves it for Bukayo Saka. Again, this is in line with the penalty area as well. This time it's on the near side. Arsenal's right. He leaves it to Tomiyasu again. So again, we've done pass to parcel with this throw. Tomiyasu is about to throw this hopefully towards the edge of the Oxford penalty area. In fact, he throws it up the line to Bukayo Saka. Good covering there again by the Oxford defender. That was Sam Long. Puts it. In fact, it wasn't actually. It was Billy Bowden. I do apologise to Billy Bowden for his good defensive work there. Just getting in front of Bukayo Saka. It's another throw to Arsenal. Tomiyasu throws it back to Vieira. Flicks on towards Bukayo Saka. Keeps possession for Arsenal. Now it's back with El Neni. And plays it all the way back to Rob Holding and then square to Gabriel. Arsenal just starting to settle a little bit now, actually, after that rather shaky start that we have. We're maybe just getting used to the pitch and the conditions. Mohamed El Neni plays a long ball forward looking for Eddie Nketiah on the edge of the Oxford penalty area. Tried to take it down on his chest, but he wasn't able to get it under control, and Elliot Moore nipped in, and now Oxford can come forward. And so it's good play, actually, in midfield there. Really good play on this near side. That was from Lewis Bates. He's got the ball back again, the Leeds loanee. Now it's played up this near side to Kieran Brown. Oxford keeping possession well now. Just taking the sting out of that little Arsenal spell there where we had maybe 2 or 3 minutes of decent possession in the Oxford half. But they're coming forward again, Oxford. But that was slightly overplayed. Gabriel steps in. Eddie Nketiah now has got the ball again over on that far side. Plays it in to El Neni. Then it's back to Gabriel and he goes back. Oh, to Matt Turner. It wasn't a great back pass, actually. Turner had to just scramble a little bit to keep that in, but he did. Plays it long in towards the centre circle. That was a good header there from Sam Long. But Arsenal now pick up possession again with Tomiyasu on this near side. Leaves it for Bukayo Saka on the halfway line. And Bukayo Saka's falls back to Rob Holding and square to Gabriel. Arsenal certainly now enjoying a far greater share of the possession, but not really putting that Oxford defence under too much pressure. That's a ball square into midfield. Not a great ball, actually. Kieran Tierney steps in, but loses out. Although suddenly now we've got a break on that far side with Fabio Vieira. Can he get the ball across? He does too. Bukayo Saka just on the edge of the Oxford penalty area. He's got Tomiyasu outside him. Pulls the ball back along the near post. A good goalkeeping actually there from Ed McGinty. That low cross from Tomiyasu. That was a good move from Arsenal. Probably the best we've produced so far. Tomiyasu went on the overlap. Found by Bukayo Saka, but the low cross in towards the near post was well saved by the goalkeeper there. Just as Gabriel Martinelli was attacking that ball, looking for the opening goal. 15.5 minutes played here at the Kassam Stadium in Oxford. Oxford 0, Arsenal 0. We still haven't got a goal away at Oxford since 1984 was the last time we scored. That was in a 3-2 League Cup defeat. We've never won away at Oxford in history. That is a quite incredible record, isn't it? We haven't played too many times here. That might explain why, but even so, you would have expected us to have beaten Oxford them years that they were in the first division back in the 80s, but we didn't. Not at their ground anyway. We did beat them at home on 3 of the 4 occasions that we played them. Anyway, Arsenal coming forward now. That's a good ball actually over on that far side. Sambi Lokonga finds Gabriel Martinelli. Kieran Tierney's racing away outside him. Is he going to find Kieran Tierney? He does. Can Kieran Tierney get across? And he does. It's going to fall to Saka, is it? Not quite, just behind him. And again, it's good defensive work by Billy Bowden. And he's won a goal kick for Oxford, actually. Really good play from him again. That's twice now he's got back. Done some really good defensive work. Tomiyasu there appealing to the linesman and Bukayo Saka saying it should have been a corner. But I do think that was a goal kick. I do think it came off. In fact, he may well come back off Billy Bowden, actually, looking at the replay. So maybe it should have been a corner. But anyway, no VAR. Not the VAR would have interfered with that anyway. But anyway, it's a goal kick to Oxford, which Ed McGinty is going to take. And we've played 17 minutes. No real opportunities yet for either side to get the goal to break the deadlock here. But Arsenal will certainly add a lot more possession in the last 5 to 6 minutes or so. That's a long ball played forward though by Oxford. Gabriel heads it clear, looking for Saka on this near side, heads it back to Tomiyasu, and he goes back to Rob Holding. Plays the ball forward into midfield to Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira gets it back again, and then Vieira plays it back. It's very difficult to see the Arsenal numbers on these white shirts. So luckily, I kind of recognise them, even though I've got quite a small telly I'm watching it on. Sometimes it's quite difficult to pick out their numbers, certainly. Anyway, this is Rob Holding with his nice new haircut. Plays it to Tomiyasu on this near side. Again, though, the line forward has been cut out well. Billy Bowden's working so hard on his near side for Oxford. Again, he cut out, but that's a good ball into midfield. Sambi Lokonga finds Mohamed El Neni, and maybe Arsenal can now try and find a way forward over on that far side. Gabriel goes back though to El Neni. He's got Tomiyasu up this near side. Simple ball to him. Saka in front of him. He finds Bukayo Saka, plays the ball through, looking for the run in behind of Eddie Nketiah, but it wasn't a good ball, and it's going to run through to Ed McGinty. And so far, Arsenal's passing in the final third hasn't been good enough, and we haven't really caused that Oxford defence too many nervy moments so far, have we? Just that one time there, Tomiyasu got him behind, didn't he, on this near side, but his cross was too close to the goalkeeper. Other than that, we've rarely threatened to get him behind at all. Of a very well organised Oxford defence, you have to say. They're looking solid. You know, that's a long ball forward. Rob Holding again that wins his header. The ball drops to Gabriel Martinelli, very central, plays it back to Sambi Lokonga, in to El Neni. Oxford are pressing us really well and making it difficult for us to play our way out of trouble. But we have done now over on that far side. But Sambi Lokonga concedes a foul, does he? In fact, it's Arsenal's free kick. It was McGuinn there, Marcus McGuinn with the foul on Sambi Lokonga, the two battling away over on that far side. And it's going to be a free kick, which Kieran Tierney is going to take about 10 yards in from that far touchline. We're coming up towards 20 minutes, so we're almost halfway through this first half. It's been a very, very scrappy game, if we're honest. The pitch obviously isn't helping Arsenal with our passing game, is it, to be fair? But you know, we're going to have to adapt to it and adjust, because the pitch certainly isn't going to get any better, is it? Rob Holding now, a little bit of space, plays the ball up this near side to Tomiyasu, finds Bukayo Saka. Is this going to be a better ball forward? It is, but Eddie Nketiah can't get there first. Good defending again from Elliot Moore, who's looking solid at the back there, the Oxford captain, stepping in well, winning the ball a few times in front of Eddie Nketiah. Needs to be a little bit sharper. Anderson now for Oxford over on that far side, but the ball was overrun and it couldn't be picked up there from Josh Murphy. But again, Arsenal can't keep possession. Oxford again have won the ball back over on that far side. Now it is into the feet of Murphy. Turns away from Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney gets a foot in, but the ball breaks for Oxford now, coming forward over on that far side. Good tackle that was there from Sambi Lokonga. But again, Oxford have picked up possession of the ball. It's with McGuinn now. Marcus McGuinn, he's got options either side here. And Oxford just keep possession. Their fans are getting behind them. Sellout crowd here at the Kassam Stadium. We've got John in the chat. How you doing, John? He says, hi, Richard Terry, all in the chat. Tuning in tonight. Yeah, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Hasn't been a great start from Arsenal, has it? Difficult conditions, obviously, a difficult pitch. And Oxford have now got a throw in Arsenal's final third. It was a good run forward there, actually, from Lewis Bate, the Leeds United loanee. He did really well there. Good run forward. And it is going to be a throw now on this near side. We've got Mark in the chat. Very good, Mark. Good to see you. Hi, gents. He says, yeah, good to see you, my friend. Hope you well. And it is a throw to Oxford, which Kieran Brown takes quickly. And Oxford now trying to come forward. It's a nice little back heel, actually, but good defensive play. But actually, Oxford win the ball back with Josh Murphy. But Arsenal do manage to clear it away. But there's no Arsenal player within 20 yards of the halfway line. That's how deep we are being pushed back. Ball played forward there by Brown. Wasn't a great ball. It got cut out. But again, Arsenal don't really clear it away. It's been pretty scrappy, this from Arsenal. Oxford again in possession in the middle of the pitch into the centre circle. Now it's played up this near side to Kieran Brown again. Goes back to, it's now with Cameron Brannigan. Exchanges passes with Elliot Moore. Brannigan now in a very central position. Pings a long ball over the top in, looking to get Brown in behind. Tomiyasu's across there well. Plays the ball up the line towards Bukayo Saka. It wasn't a good ball, actually. Saka loses out the header, and suddenly Oxford now have got a little bit of space on this near side, have they, with a Taylor? No, they haven't, because a free kick's been given. It was a foul there on Tomiyasu. Just back, I didn't really see too much wrong with that, if I'm totally honest. You know, certainly in League Two, that wouldn't be a free kick, would it? We've got Xgunner81. He says, great commentary, Richard. Thank you, because I don't have it on the telly. No worries at all. That's what we're here for. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Terry says, ref letting the tackles fly. Looks like the good old days. Yeah, except for that one there, which I don't think would have been given as a free kick in League One. Just it was a header won there by the Oxford player. I think it was McGuinn. on Tomiyasu. Yes, he did catch him a little bit with his arm, but when you're jumping, where are you going to put your arms? I thought that was quite a soft free kick, but we'll take it, obviously. We played 23 minutes, so just over halfway through this first half. Oxford 0, Arsenal 0. Very scrappy game so far. I suppose it wasn't really expecting much else, was we, with the conditions of pitch. Rob Holding now showing that he is like Carvalho with that little turn in the box. Anyway, it's Bukayo Saka down this near side, got a little bit of space, plays the ball in field. That's a poor touch again from Fabio Vieira. He's been really poor in this game, and Oxford now going to have an opportunity on the edge of the box. Taylor plays it square to McGuinn, goes back again to Brannigan, a shot from distance, hits Gabriel. That's the first time Oxford have really threatened a goal in this game, and it all came from sloppy play again from Fabio Vieira in midfield. That's 2 or 3 times now he's given the ball away in a dangerous area. He's really got to sharpen himself up, the Portuguese. £30 million signing, of course, this summer, and he's been very poor in this game so far, you have to say. Anyway, Kieran Tierney over on that far side plays it square to El Neni, and Oxford aren't letting us settle, and you've got to give them credit for that. Fair play for Oxford. They're giving this game everything so far, and they've made it a very difficult first 24 minutes for Arsenal. Saka, though, looking to try to turn away. Ball now up this near side. Fabio Vieira this time in a more attacking position, where he's maybe slightly more comfortable. Plays the ball back to Mohamed El Neni. Mark says there, what's the story with the pitch? I don't have a TV. Well, I mean, it's just very bobbly, quite honestly. It's not a great pitch, and certainly nowhere near up to the standards of the Premier League. And we're finding it difficult to get our passing going as a result. It's got a lot of bobbles and bumps on it. It's quite patchy pitch. Oxford will be used to it, of course, and that's a big advantage to them. That's what home advantage is about, isn't it? And Oxford so far has certainly made the most of it, and we really haven't settled at all. Anyway, the referee has stopped the game. Is there an injury off camera that we can't see at the moment? Yeah, there's an Arsenal player down. Bukayo Saka, worryingly enough, holding his ankle, of course, head of the North London derby at the weekend. The last thing we need is an injury to Bukayo Saka. I didn't think it was a foul, actually. He just got there first. It was Kieran Brown. Those two have had quite a battle so far. And he did catch Bukayo Saka's ankle, actually. And he's down. Don't know whether he's going to need any treatment or he's going to be okay. But he's done well, the Irish defender, for Oxford so far. Saka's back on his feet again, which is good to see. Arsenal have come in for a drinks break, and Arteta giving them some more instructions, because obviously having a week to prepare for the game is not enough, is it? Anyway, Oxford are also doing the same. Carl Robertson is just telling his players to, make the most of this little break in play and regain a little bit of energy. They would have used a lot of energy up, Oxford, because they really have pressed us high so far in this game. 26 minutes played. Tomiyasu with his throw for Arsenal in front of the bench for Oxford, and in the end, Bukayo Saka just plays it back to the goalkeeper for Oxford just to return possession, because they did kick it out for that injury to Saka. John says there, I didn't see the team name. Has Arteta put out a strong team? The team is Matt Turner in goal, Tomiyasu, Holding, Gabriel and Tierney as a back four, El Neni, Lokonga and Vieira in midfield, and Saka, Nketiah and Martinelli up front. So it's a bit of a mix and match in terms of the team that usually plays in the Premier League. 7 changes from Newcastle, but the front 3 remains the same. Saka now inside the penalty area, goes around the outside, tries to get a crossing. Good defending again from Kieran Brown. He's doing really well, the left back for Oxford. It's his clearance up the pitch. He did well there to block that cross from Saka, who's looking dangerous there. Tried to go around the outside, but wasn't able to get the ball back. Yes, it's a half and half team, maybe you'd say, from Arsenal, but certainly should have enough quality. That's a poor headed over from Rob Holding. Gives the ball straight back to Oxford again, to Billy Bowden, another player who's worked really hard. In fact, that was Matty Taylor, so I'm getting those two confused a little bit tonight. I do apologise. Anyway, Oxford are back in possession. It's Elliot Moore, plays it to Brannigan, Cameron Brannigan, former Liverpool man. Plays the ball square to Lewis Bates, and that's a great ball forward actually up this near side. Again, it's Taylor underneath it, and then he fouls Tomiyasu. It's going to be a free kick. Matty Taylor doesn't agree with that, but it was a foul. You grabbed him round the neck, mate, so don't know what you're moaning about. So he says, are you saying me and Richard are second best? Great to have you back, and I hope you had a great Christmas and New Year, mate, and all the families are good. Yeah, I hope you did, John. I haven't seen you for a while. John says, even with VAR, there was controversy with Liverpool getting luck in the decisions. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it hasn't. The fact that some games have had it and some games haven't, given a good account of VAR, is it? Because the games with VAR have made just as many stupid mistakes as the ones without it. So anyway, it is strange that that's the way it is, but there is no VAR tonight because League One teams do not have it. So there you go. But anyway, and I wouldn't have thought they could have VAR in an unfinished stadium with a car park behind one of the goals anyway, but there you go. Anyway, Arsenal in possession now. Kieran Tierney over on that far side plays it back to Gabriel. 28.5 minutes at the Kassam. Oxford 0, Arsenal 0. And yes, that's pretty much the tail of it. I don't think there's been a shot on target from either side yet. And that kind of sums up the game. Very, very scrappy. But Oxford are working really, really hard to make it difficult for us. And obviously that's what you'd expect them to do. You know, it shouldn't be a shock to anybody that they're doing that. And they've got the ball back to goalkeeper Ed McGinty. He's going to go long. The Irishman, long clearance forward. Rob Holding should win that header. He does. Cushions it down to Tomiyasu, who's done well there. Tomiyasu coming forward now on this near side. Arsenal's right. Does really well, but he didn't read that pass, or Saka didn't read the pass, and it's gone straight out for a goal kick. And that's pretty much sums up Arsenal's first half so far for me. There's a few people there in the car park behind the goal watching the game for free, probably. Although they might have had to pay a tenner to park their car, perhaps. But anyway, they're standing just on the behind the goal there, watching in the car park. You'd have thought they would have found some way of stopping that from happening, wouldn't you? In fact, that looks like they're standing on the roof of a car. There's about 8 or 9 of them standing on the roof of a car behind the goal and watching the game for free. The police are now coming over and they're probably going to tell them to get off. Not that they're committing an offence, I don't suppose. Standing on if it's their own car, obviously if it's someone else's car, that'd be different. But if it's their own car, I can't see that they've committed any offence there, really. But anyway, the police have just moved in, and I'm sure they will soon be off that car and have to pay to get in like everybody else. Anyway, Arsenal coming forward over on that far side. Kieran Tierney keeps the ball in. He's got 2 players around him. Now, this shows how hard they're working. It was Anderson and McGuinn there. Now it's with El Neni, plays the ball into the box to Eddie Nketiah, turns again. He's got 2 defenders around him, plays the ball back out to Kieran Tierney. Can we get a ball into the box this time? He does get a crossing, but only as far as Sam Long, who heads it out. Arsenal picking up possession again. Vieira just lays it back to Rob Holding, and then he goes back again to Gabriel. And Arsenal just can't find a way to get in behind the Oxford defence and create an opportunity to score. Bukayo Saka, is it going to be him that creates the opening? He plays the ball back instead to Vieira. Tried to play it in, to Tomiyasu. Tried to play it in towards Eddie Nketiah, but he's offside. Eddie Nketiah has been really, really poor in this game so far. Elliot Moore, the captain, has just had him in his pocket so far after 30 minutes. Really poor from Eddie Nketiah. And if this isn't a message to Arsenal, to the board, to buy a striker in this transfer window, I don't know what is. He was quite poor against Newcastle. He's been really poor tonight. And surely the next couple of weeks now, we've got to bring in some players, and we desperately need a striker. Desperately. There is no way we are going to maintain our title challenge with Eddie Nketiah up front. It just isn't going to happen. He's just not good enough. Anyway, a long ball over the top there by McGinty. Can it be kept in? Oh, it was. A cross comes in, but was it deflected behind? It wasn't. It was Matty Taylor. It was. I don't think he quite managed to keep that in. But a long ball forward by the goalkeeper there. Caught Arsenal. It was over the top of Rob Holding. He thought it was going to go out, actually. And in the end, Taylor got there, but he couldn't keep the cross in. That was a little bit of a panic at the back there. Rob Holding not really dealing with that. John says there, what's everyone's thinking about Mudryk and Felix transfer saga with Felix going to Chelsea? Well, I personally don't think they're what we need right at this moment in time. We need more experienced players to come in and boost the squad. I'm not saying either of those 2 players aren't good players. I think, Mudryk looks as though he'd be a good player in a couple of years' experience, but we need players now who can come in to boost the squad and give us that lift that we need to get us to what our targets are this season. If we don't bring more experienced players in, then I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the season. With the Europa League kicking in, hopefully a little run in the FA Cup. I don't know. Terry says, I think Chelsea are playing the Arsenal Arteta project. Well, they seem to be, don't they? I seem to be trying. I mean, to be fair, Graham Potter, you would imagine that would be his idea. I mean, it's not Chelsea. It's not been Chelsea's model, has it, for a long time? They've not been using young players at all, really, have they? They've been buying expensive players, and that's how they've had their success. Obviously, it's a different era under Chelsea now. Abramovich has gone, and maybe we might see something different with Chelsea now. You know, I'll say Graham Potter, I think, is a very good coach, a very good manager, and you'd imagine he would want to build a young team, because that seems to be what he did at Brighton. So maybe Chelsea are going to change, but they'll need to give him time, won't they? Because you can see how much they've been struggling at this moment, and Oxford have just got an offside there against Taylor. It clearly was an offside as well. Couldn't get back quickly enough, the Oxford striker, and it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. 33.5 minutes played at the Kassam. Oxford 0, Arsenal 0. Arsenal in this white kit where in almost 1.5 games we haven't managed to score. That we've used it. I think this might well be the last time if we don't win tonight. Anyway, Kieran Tierney coming forward now. It's a good run from Kieran Tierney. Going to get a shot in on the edge of the box. Finds Bukayo Saka. Is this going to be the moment? Plays it back to Tomiyasu. Oh, that's a terrible cross from Tomiyasu. Easily headed away by Oxford. Rob Holding picks the ball up. Pings the ball over to the far side. That's a good ball actually to Martinelli from Rob Holding. Martinelli now can run at Anderson over on that far side. Plays into the box too. Sambi Lokonga. Shots deflected. Claiming a handball there, Sambi Lokonga, and in fact a few Arsenal players. Referee David Coops not having none of it. He's given a corner. Let's have a look at the replay of this. Martinelli it was, played at the ball in to Sambi Lokonga, got a shot away. I don't think that's handball. It's good defending actually there from the captain Elliot Moore. Well, in fact, he probably did hit his arm actually, but his arm was by his side, although he was at full stretch. It's going to be a corner to Arsenal. Again, a little bit similar to that Newcastle one. He's got a look of a guilty man actually there, Elliot Moore, but he did hit his arm, but it was hit straight at him really, and I don't know. Anyway, there's a bit of pushing and shoving in the area. Rob Holding saying he was kicked by that penalty spot. Anyway, it's a corner to Arsenal, which looks like Martinelli's going to take over on that far side. In fact, is it Fabio Vieira taking it actually? It's going to be the corner in towards the near post. It's headed out, only comes out as far as Bukayo Saka. It's lofted back into the box again by Kieran Tierney, but it wasn't a great ball. Wasn't a great clearance either by Oxford, actually. Sambi Lokonga picks the ball up, thinks across towards the far post. Good header again from Kieran Brown, who's probably been the best player in this first half. A good cross in from Saka, but it's headed out again by Moore. It's going to be a throw, though, to Arsenal in line with the Oxford penalty here on this near side. It's going to be Tomiyasu to take it again. But that was probably the closest we've come so far. Penalty shout there. I mean, it did hit his hand. Whether or not it was enough to be a penalty, I don't know. We've certainly seen him given, and VAR may well have decided to give it, but the referee decided not to, and that was the end of that one. Anyway, Arsenal still in possession on this near side. Tomiyasu twisting and turning away, finds Gabriel Martinelli. Tomiyasu tried to get back on the ball again, but it ricocheted off him, and it's gone into the arms of the goalkeeper, Ed McGinty. We are now into the last 9 minutes of the first half. It's been a very, very poor first half, really, in terms of quality of football. But Arsenal obviously have more possession, but so far, don't think there's been a shot on target we've had, is there? Anyway, that long kick there from the goalkeeper's flicked on. Suddenly there's an opportunity here for Oxford across towards the far post. Kieran Tierney's there, heads it away. Oh, there's a moment there. The ball hasn't actually been cleared at that far. Oxford are still in possession. That was a dangerous moment there from Arsenal for Arsenal. Bodin finds Taylor on this near side, plays the ball inside. This is good play from Oxford, actually. Really good play from them. McGuinn now can he get a cross in? Plays it back instead to Kieran Brown. Plays it square to Elliot Moore. It almost looked like he was in there for a moment. It was Billy Bodin just inside the penalty area, but he maybe didn't decide what he wanted to do quickly enough. And in the end, Arsenal did manage to scramble the ball away. But that was a dangerous moment there for Arsenal. And the ball's now gone away back to goalkeeper McGinty. Goes long for Oxford again. He's got a big kick on him, hasn't he? I don't know whether the wind's maybe playing a part, but he certainly gets some distance on them kicks, isn't he? Anyway, Arsenal have done well. Fabio Vieira was fouled, but Arsenal in possession, so we play on. Sambi Lokonga plays out to that far side to Gabriel Martinelli. He's going to have a run again at this Oxford defence. He hasn't really had any joy down that side so far. Plays the ball back out to Kieran Tierney. Gives it back to Martinelli. Can he get a cross in? The Brazilian looking for a little bit of space. Can't quite find any. Kieran Tierney does get a cross in, but he's overhit it. And it's going to go behind for a goal kick again. Arsenal's final ball. Really, really poor. Desperately poor, actually. Yeah, not good at all. We've 38 minutes now on the clock at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford 0, Arsenal 0. And it is going to be a goal kick again to the League One hosts. They are 15th in League One, let's remember. And Arsenal top of the Premier League. Yes, it's not our full-strength team by any stretch of the imagination. 7 changes from the last game against Newcastle, but it's still been quite a poor Arsenal performance, this, hasn't it? Has to be said. Terry says, what do you think of El Neni to Villa? Do you think it will happen or not until the end of our winning at the Premier League this season? Well, he just signed that new contract, didn't he? And I remember saying at the time that it was more about making him more valuable to sell him on, because he was never going to play much. And I mean, for him and his career, it would be a good move. And of course, Unai Emery knows El Neni, doesn't he? Because he worked with him when he was Arsenal manager. So it would be maybe a good fit for him. And I think for his career perspective, it would be good. But unless we sign some players, we can't really afford to let anybody go, because we don't have the strength in depth as it is, especially in the midfield. You know, I mean, I know El Neni's not a fantastic player, but you know he can come in the Premier League and do a job for 2 or 3 games. And unless we're going to replace him, then it would be crazy to let him go now, wouldn't it? But from his own career perspective, of course he should move on, because he wants to play football, I'm sure. You know, at the age he is now, he needs to be playing football, doesn't he? So, but unless we're going to replace him, we can't really afford to let anybody go. Rajendra says El Neni's very poor today. Well, most of them are poor, aren't they? Let's be honest. You know, the midfield 3 in the Premier League, Partey, Ødegaard and Xhaka, have been outstanding. And they've dominated most of the games. So you're looking at this team now, and you can quite clearly see that that's the massive problem, isn't it? If when those 3 don't play, we just don't look very good. We just don't look very good at all, do we? Because we can't dominate the ball in the same way. We don't have that quality. I think Vieira's been poor. Yeah, I think El Neni has been poor. And Sambi Lokonga's not been great either, has he? So it's not bode well, has it? And that's why the game's gone so far, 40 minutes, the way it's gone. Because we haven't got enough quality in that midfield at all. None at all. Kevin says they're wider right white strip. It's like last year, Kevin. It's there's a campaign Arsenal doing. It's called No More Red, and it's in reference to knife crime in London, and it's sort of an appeal against sort of knife crime. Really, that's what it's about. No More Red, and that's why it's an all white kit. We wore it last year in the FA Cup against Nottingham Forest, and of course we lost that game 1-0, didn't we? So I was a little bit concerned about that before the game started, even more so now. Anyway, it's going to be a long throw from Kieran Brown, who's been, I say, probably the best player in his first half. It's a long throw towards the near post. Arsenal don't really deal with it. Managed to get it away now, though, just about. But Oxford looking dangerous there. But suddenly Martinelli on the counter-attack for Arsenal. He caught out Anderson there. Was a little bit slow reacting. And now Martinelli's had a good run all the way up the pitch. Oh, good tackle, actually, there from Anderson inside the penalty area. He had to have timed that right as well. He puts his arm up there to apologise. He was very, very slow reacting. And Martinelli pinched the ball off him and ran 40 yards up the other end of the pitch. Terry says, Robbie Fowler there. Is he something to do with Oxford? I'm not sure, but obviously Oxford do have Cameron Brannigan, who used to play for Liverpool. So whether he's come to see him play, because he was at Liverpool for a while, that could be the link, or maybe he is involved with Oxford, I'm not sure. There seems to be quite a lot of ex-players actually in the crowd. I saw David Platt earlier as well. He's in the crowd. Kevin says, is his son at Oxford? Oh, of course he is. Yeah, his son is at Oxford. You're right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I say obviously there's Brannigan as well, who of course used to play. Now this Josh Murphy, who plays for Oxford, he looks very similar to the Murphy who plays for Newcastle. They must be related, surely. Oh, almost a goal there for Arsenal. Actually, a long throw flicked on. Eddie tried to get in between the 2 defenders and prodded the ball over the bar from inside at the 6-yard box. That was Kieran Tierney's long throw. And Eddie just got a foot to it actually inside the 6-yard box, but pushed it over the bar. So, yeah, Robbie Fowler's son's at Oxford. But I say, obviously, there's that Liverpool link there as well. And I say, I'm sure this Josh Murphy must be related to the Murphy who plays for Newcastle, surely, because he looks very similar to him, doesn't he? Are they brothers or something? We've got a couple of Newcastle fans in the chat. Maybe you can let us know if he is. He does look very similar to, isn't it? No, he's not Josh Murphy. Is he? What's his name? The Newcastle one. I can't remember anyway. They look very similar. So I'm sure they are related. Terry says, does it mean you can only stab people in the forearm if we have a red badge on the sleeve? I hate this white kit. Yeah, I hate it as well, yeah. Mainly because we lost in it last year and we're not playing particularly well in it now. But anyway, yeah, it's a good campaign. At the end of the day, you know, not knife crime is a problem in London. So, you know, it needs to be highlighted, and Arsenal are doing great to do that. They maybe could have looked at maybe perhaps a different way of doing it than wearing the same kit we lost in last year. But anyway, it is what it is. John says there, I didn't hear of El Nini going to Villa, but to be honest, would he be missed? Maybe do a cash and player swap. Who would we want from Villa, really? That would improve us. I'm not sure if we really would want anybody from Villa, would we? Anyway, Nathan says it will be interesting to see if Oxford can maintain its intensity in the second half. No, I agree. I have a feeling that they won't be able to, and Arsenal's quality will show. Yeah, that's the fitness issue. Of course, you know, Premier League players are a lot fitter, aren't they, than League One players? But, you know, if Oxford aren't going to lift themselves and give everything in this one-off game, then they never will. So, you know, yes, I think Arsenal will probably get some chances in the second half. Paul says there he's called Jacob Murphy at Newcastle. That's it, yeah, but I don't know if he has a brother. So, they do look very similar, and you'd think Josh and Jacob, very similar type names, the sort of thing that you know, if you were brothers, that makes sense. I'm sure they're brothers actually. I'll check at half time when there's a break on at half time. I'll Google it. I wouldn't be surprised if they are brothers. You're right, it's Jacob Murphy, Newcastle. Of course it is, yeah. And this is Josh Murphy. But anyway, he's been pretty much as ineffective as his brother was the other night for Newcastle in this game so far. But anyway, I suppose he's got an excuse that he's a League One player playing against Premier League. And Nathan says it is his brother. Oh, there you go. You see, it is his brother. So I was right. They look so similar. They could almost be twins. Are they twins actually, Nathan, or are they just brothers? Because they look so similar. In fact, I did caught him earlier, and I thought it was. I thought, has he gone on loan? You know, has he played in 2 FA Cup third round ties in the same weekend? He looks so similar. But yeah, they do look like twins to me. But anyway, thanks for clearing it up. I was going to check at half time, but I don't need to now. Anyway, Rob Holding now plays the ball forward. And again, Brown's in. Kieran Brown, he's been brilliant, actually, the left back for Oxford. What a great game he's had. Fantastic performance from him. And he cleared the ball away well. But anyway, Martin Edenhaver on that far side plays the ball square to Kieran Tierney. Oh, it was a mistake there in the Oxford defence, almost letting Eddie, but they got away with that one. Nathan says, I'm not sure to be honest. So maybe I will check at half time. Just have a look. Oh, Oxford are in, are they? No, they're not. Offside flags up. It was Matty Taylor again getting in behind. That's twice now. He must have been close there. He seemed to be a little bit unsure if he was offside. Anyway, we're into stoppage time, at the minute of stoppage time at the end of this first half. That has been, in fact, there goes a half-time whistle as we mentioned it. And it is half-time, Oxford 0, Arsenal 0. You have to say Oxford have given everything in that game. They've been magnificent, actually. Their work rate has been outstanding. They've been pressing us early. They've been winning the ball back high up the pitch. They've created one or two problems for us. But there hasn't been any real opportunities at goal. We've been very, very poor. Certainly in the final third, you know, we've got our front three that's been playing in the Premier League, Saka and Nketiah and Martinelli, and haven't been able to get past this really, really hard-working, well-drilled Oxford defence, and you have to give them credit for that. But we need to be better. It is 0-0 at half-time, and Oxford, that's the least they deserve from that game, I think. I think they've played really, really well. They've been a credit to League One football. And, yeah, the pitch isn't helping. But anyway, Paul says there, yeah, we're trying to get rid of Murphy. He's getting dogs abuse on the Newcastle YouTube bloggers. Yeah, I've been watching some of that. I mean, to be fair, he was really, really poor the other night. I mean, I've not seen that much of him this season. I've watched a few Premier League games in Newcastle, but he's not really playing that much, is he? Yeah, I thought he was really poor the other night, I've got to be honest, against Sheffield Wednesday. But then he wasn't the only one, was he? Newcastle were off it. A bit like we are tonight. It's very similar kind of game, actually, which worries me a little bit because obviously what happened in the second half of the Newcastle game could still happen here, couldn't it? Because, you know, I don't know. But yeah, it's not been great from Arsenal. And it is 0-0 at half time. And yeah, probably the best we could have hoped for. I'm just going to check actually if Josh Murphy and Jacob Murphy are twins because they certainly do look alike. Let's have a look and see. So we've got Josh. Let me just check on Google because Google tells us everything, doesn't it? It's a font of all knowledge. So let's have a look and see. because I've never seen a player look that much like another player without them being related. Anyway, they are brothers, obviously, as we know. Yeah, twin brother. There you go. They are twins. He's a twin brother of Jacob Murphy. So there you go. Fantastic. And yeah, and that doesn't surprise me because they look identical to me. But yeah, obviously Jacob must have slightly more ability than his brother, perhaps. Although perhaps Newcastle fans would disagree. But I'll say he's not played particularly well tonight, Josh Murphy, if I'm honest. He's been perhaps their least effective in the front three players. I thought the other two, Bowden and Taylor, have looked really good. And Murphy maybe not had that much influence as yet, but maybe it'll be his second half. Who knows? We'll have to see. But yeah, really poor first half from Arsenal, if I'm honest. Just that final third, we just haven't got our passing going. There was that one time we got him behind with Tomiyasu. It wasn't a great cross, and the final ball into the box hasn't been great. And yeah, we just haven't really played that well. And it's 0-0 for that reason. To have 45 minutes against the League One side to not have one chance, one shot, a goal on target is really poor, isn't it? No matter how well Oxford are playing and how hard they're working, we're Arsenal. We've got international players in our team, even though it's much changed, and they're still international players, aren't they? Most of them. So no real excuse for that poor level of performance, but it does bring it back to the fact that these players, a lot of these players, aren't playing regular football. And if you aren't playing regular football, it's very difficult to get back straight into your rhythm again, isn't it? And it's a lot to ask of some of these players. El Neni hardly plays, Lakonga, Vieira, Kieran Tierney's in and out of the team, not really getting a run. Tomiyasu's not played much, has he, lately? Rob Holding gets 5 minutes here and there. It's not enough, is it? It's not enough. And you can see every time when we made these sort of changes, played this sort of team in the Europa League, it was very similar performances, wasn't it? We struggled to create chances. And yeah, and this is where we are. This is what the squad is, unfortunately. And this is why I believe we're going to fall short in the Premier League, because Manchester City have got two teams worth of players, haven't they? And we just about got one, and backups just aren't good enough. So, let's see what we do in January. But we're not going to buy 5-6 players in January, are we, to pad the squad out? So we're going to have to try and do what we can, but we have to do something. You know what I mean? We have to bring in some experience here, surely. Terry says the twins have had a result. Whatever happens, they don't look like their dad. Well, maybe. I don't know who their dad is. But anyway, Paul says Arteta will make some changes for the second half. You'd imagine he's going to have to change something, because that performance was just really poor, wasn't it? And some of them players just don't look up for it or up to it. I'm not sure what it is. Terry says Arteta can't even pull off his master stroke and bring Holding on. No, he can't. He's going to have to leave him on, isn't he? Although he wouldn't bring him on until 5 minutes to go, would he? If we were 1-0 up. Anyway, we've got a strong bench tonight, and that's the good thing, isn't it? That first half didn't go particularly well. It was quite a poor performance, but we do have a very strong bench here to bring some players on in the second half if we need to, which currently we do need to, because that's just not good enough, is it? Who would we think? Erdegaard, Smith Rowe, if he's fit enough for 45 minutes, he might be able to come on, and we'll see what quality he can bring. He's sort of in that midfield area. That's a worry for me. I wouldn't be surprised if Granit Xhaka comes on at some stage, just to give us more control in that midfield. We need to get someone who's going to get their foot on the ball, and that's what Granit Xhaka is really good at. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes on. I wouldn't really play Thomas Partey. Obviously, with the North London derby at the weekend in mind, but Granit Xhaka, he never gets injured, does he? So I'm sure he can come on in the second half and just give us a little bit more control in that midfield area where I think we've been very slow. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, not good enough at all. They're just talking about the penalty for that possible handball there by Elliot Moore. I mean, it did hit his hands. There's no doubt about that. Terry says, who's on the bench? I missed that bit. Well, on the bench, there's Carl Hine, the goalkeeper, Ben White, Zinchenko, Xhaka, Partey, Erdegaard, Smith Rowe, Marquinhos, and Butler Oyedeji as well. So that's the bench for Arsenal. Say Smith Rowe, you'd imagine, can probably come on in the second half if he's fit. Erdegaard, Xhaka, they're the sort of changes I would expect if we're going to make any about half time, but we may wait, mightn't we? Give it 10 minutes in the second half and see how it goes. John says Man City had their B team v Chelsea, and yes, Chelsea weren't at their strongest, but City still destroyed them. Yeah, they did. And that just shows the difference, doesn't it? That's the strength in depth. But then City have, they spent a lot of money on that squad. We spent a lot of money on our squad, to be fair. And a lot of these players in the team tonight have been bought into the club, haven't they? Vieira, 30 million. Lokonga, what was he? 10 million, 11 million, something like that, wasn't he? El Neni, I don't know what he cost, 6 million, I think, wasn't it, a few years ago? Tierney cost us money. Gabriel, Rob Holding cost us. In fact, all of these teams cost us money apart from Eddie and Bukayo Saka. So it's an expensively put together team, isn't it? And they produced a performance like that against a mid-range League One team. And it's just not good enough. So yeah. But yeah, you're right. Man City's second team would finish in the top 2 or 3 in the Premier League, wouldn't they? In fact, they'd probably win the Premier League. Let's be honest, or they certainly have a chance of winning the Premier League. They're second 11. That's how strong their squad is, and it just highlights how weak our squad is in comparison. Our first 11, 12, 13 players are good, very good, as we've seen. But when you have to dig deeper into the squad, they're not good enough, and you can see that tonight. We've got too many players that aren't up to it, unfortunately. And if we want to progress, if we want to really challenge for those big honours, if we want to put a proper challenge in to win the Premier League, let's face it, we're in such a good position. What we don't want to do is throw that opportunity away. And unless we start padding out this squad with better quality, I can't see us achieving anything like the sort of stuff that we want to be achieving or should be looking to achieve as a club. And that's the fact of the matter, isn't it? Because the squad just isn't good enough. It's not. Terry says ESR on for Eddie, as Eddie seems like he is playing at the Emirates tonight. Well, he doesn't seem like he's playing at all, does he? Eddie's been poor, actually. You're right, really poor. His touch has been dreadful. And yeah, but you see what I'm saying? These are the squad players, and they're not good enough. None of them tonight that's come in. The 7 changes that we've made, not one of them has stepped up and said, I should be playing in the Premier League. Give me more minutes. None of them have said that. Not one of them. Even Tomiyasu has not been great. He's been okay. He's not been great, has he? Kieran Tierney's probably been one of our better players down that left-hand side, but again, his final ball's not been great. And none of them have. The midfield have been crap, honestly, terrible. The 3 of them. So anyway, John says they're 100% correct, Richard. City have 2 teams at their club. Mahrez is a brilliant player. No, he is, yeah. It's funny, wasn't it, that game against Chelsea in the week in the Premier League where they were 0-0, brought on Grealish and Mahrez, and they set up the goal and scored the goal between them. So that's the difference, isn't it? And that's why I don't believe we'll win the Premier League. I really don't, because we don't have that. We don't have those options, do we? You saw against Newcastle, we huffed and puffed a lot in that game in the second half, but we had no one on the bench we could bring on to change the game. And that's why we didn't win. And that's going to happen as the season goes on and on. More teams are going to come to the Emirates to defend, and we don't have those options to come off the bench and win us those games. And that's going to cost us ultimately, I think, when it comes down to it. But, I think we all set our stall out at the start of the season, didn't we, to say top 4. And I think that was what we wanted as a club. And yes, you have to say that at the start that we've had, suddenly the expectations change. But every time I look at our squad, every time I look at our bench in the Premier League, I can't see us winning the Premier League this year. And we've got to look at getting in that top 4. That's got to be the aim. And if we do that, then that's been a good season. And I know a lot of people will be disappointed now in the position that we've been in. We were 7 points clear, wasn't we? After Boxing Day. New Year. Was it New Year's Eve, wasn't it? We were 7 points clear. But I don't know. I wouldn't be... Obviously, we'd be disappointed if we don't win the league. Of course you will. We want to see us win the league. But I don't think we're ready. I don't think the squad's ready. I don't think we've got that depth. And if we won it this season, it would be incredible, wouldn't it? It would be such an incredible result. Almost like the Leicester one from all those years ago. So, but I'm not expecting us to win the Premier League with our squad. Regenda says there, most teams don't have a good defence as Newcastle. No, that's true. Newcastle got the best defence in the league, 11 goals conceded. But when a team comes to your ground and gets 10 men behind the ball for 90 minutes, you need to show quality to break it down. No matter how good defensively they are, it's just sheer numbers, isn't it? All the spaces get filled up, and you've got to have something a little bit special. And sometimes in a game, you need someone to come off the bench to make that difference, don't you, in those sort of games? And I think we're going to see a lot more of those games as the season goes on. And you say that, not all teams have a good defence, but, we've still got some very good teams to come to the Emirates. Some good defensive teams to come to the Emirates that are not going to make it easy for us. And my worry is, do we have the quality to win enough of those games? I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that we do. Paul says, as a big Newcastle fan, I think you will win the league. You're sometimes unstoppable and teams have worked Haaland out. The problem is with Man City, even if teams do work Haaland out, they'll just change the way they play, bring on 3 subs and still have the quality to win most games in the Premier League, won't they? That's the unfortunate thing. And Arsenal don't have that. I agree that, we are unstoppable when we've got our first 11 and our first 11 is playing well and working. But we saw, didn't we, in the game against you guys last week, that when we're kind of sort of quieting down, if you like, that's when you need to have the players to come off and make a difference, make some changes, in-game changes to make a difference and win those games. And I don't think we've got that in our squad at this moment in time. Still, January's open, so let's see. But we did do a lot of work, I think, this season if we're going to win the Premier League. But we'll see what happens. Let's hope we do, because it'll be amazing, wouldn't it? It'll be fantastic, actually. Nathan says City won the league without a recognised centre forward. Yeah, they did. They won it a couple of times, didn't they? Without a recognised centre forward. Now they've got one, so they've got almost like a plan B, if you like, haven't they? Because they know they can play the way without a centre forward. And now they've got one who's going to score 40 goals this season, 45 goals, whatever. Yeah, and we've got to try and find some way of competing with that. I don't know. I don't think we've got enough, unfortunately. Vijay says, no, I don't know. I will not be going to 100% winning run all the way through. No, of course not. We're not going to win it all the way through. John says, we have been saying this for ages now. Yes, Arteta and Arsenal have done well so far, but they have to strengthen with Premier League experience. That's exactly the point. I 100% agree with you, John. That's what we need to do. And all this, these young players, Modric and all this that we're supposed to be signing, Felix that we're after, they're all very well, but that's not what we need right now if we're going to win the league, is it? We need, I agree with you 100%, experienced Premier League players. That is 100% what I want to see us buy. 2 or 3 of them in January could make a massive difference. It could be the difference between us maybe winning the title, or certainly going all the way challenging, or falling away. That's how important it is, really. Terry says, I'm thinking if we don't bring in 2 or 3 players in January as a club, we are really serious. Should grab Maddison before Newcastle get him. We need to do a Chelsea on them. Well, we need some players, definitely. Premier League experienced players, 100%. And that's what I want to see us do. Paul says there, but they play differently now, and Haaland does nothing else to help the team. I mean, I wouldn't say nothing else. I think he does link the play pretty well at times. And but when you've got a player who scores that many goals, do you really want them to do anything else? We had Aubameyang. I'm not saying Aubameyang scored the goals Haaland does, because he didn't, but he scored a lot of goals for Arsenal when he was allowed just to do his own thing. When he was asked to play more of a role in the team, which is what you almost said Haaland, you want to see Haaland doing. Would he be as effective and score as many goals? Probably not, because Aubameyang didn't. So that's the key issue, isn't it? It's managing that situation. But it's great options have, isn't it? They can play without a centre forward, as we saw in the FA Cup, scored 4 goals, or they can have Haaland in the team and still score 4 or 5 goals. So what an amazing squad that they've got. Nathan says there, keep your hands off Maddison. Well, yeah, I'm not sure if we'll get him, to be honest. But anyway, we are back off and underway in the second half. Arsenal in all white, attacking the goal to our left, which is what I'm going to call the car park end. I don't know if that's the official name of it, but I'm calling it the car park end. And the Arsenal fans are in that sort of corner on that far side, on the main stand over there. Oxford are in yellow and blue, or yellow shirts, blue sleeves, blue shorts and yellow socks. Quite a snazzy kit. Arsenal now coming forward early in the second half with an opportunity here. Eddie Nketiah on the edge of the box finds Sambi Lokonga. But again, Arsenal don't really move the ball quick enough in that final third. Martinelli now plays it back to Kieran Tierney up the line. Not a great ball, actually. Again, it's pretty good defending from Oxford, we have won the ball back. Gabriel Martinelli on this near side. Goes past the defender. Does he? No, he doesn't. Good tackle there, actually, from Anderson, the Dutch. In fact, that was from Murphy, from Josh Murphy, who, as we found out, is twin of Jacob Murphy, played for Newcastle. They are twins. So we played against the Murphy 2 games in a row. One of the 2 twins. John says there, forget about Murdrich, Felix, and all the other players who are not experienced Premier League at this. I agree 100%. That their signings for the summer for me. Now we need experience, Premier League experience, to come in and get us to our targets. And that's what I want to see. I'll be disappointed if we don't do that. I'll be very disappointed if we don't do that this window. But anyway, Arsenal have got a corner anyway on this near side. Fabio Vieira is going to take it. It's an outswing at the near post, flicked on by Gabriel Martinelli. Oxford do deal with it, but it comes back out to Vieira again on this near side. Fabio Vieira, can he get a cross in? Instead, he plays it to Sambi Lokonga, gets it back again. Vieira dinks the ball towards the penalty spot, headed out though by Oxford again, who again starting the second half defending pretty well actually. And now they do manage to get the ball clear up this near side. Sambi Lokonga steps in there and he's won a throw on the near side, which Kieran Tierney is going to take. But Terry agrees as well. He says, yes, 100%, John. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be so disappointed if we don't do that. It's almost unforgivable, the position that we're in, and not to strengthen the squad with Premier League experienced players, or certainly players of more experienced age, not necessarily Premier League experience. That would be brilliant. But, you know, instead of signing 19, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, we need to, at this point in this January, we need to bring in some 25, 26, 27-year-olds, I think, personally. I don't think we will. I really don't. You can tell by the targets that we're after. They're that young age group, aren't they? And in 2 or 3 years' time, this may well be a fantastic squad of young players. But other clubs are going to be progressing quicker, aren't they? Because they're buying ready-made players already. So, although we'll be getting better, will we be closing that gap on those other teams? Overall, I'm not sure if we will. But we'll see. I mean, it's no doubt he's going to be an exceptional team in a couple of years' time. But where the others going to be, you know, where are Man United going to be, where are Tottenham going to be, where are Chelsea going to be, where are Man City going to be, where Liverpool, oh, and a ball over the top, Oxford are in, Turner's out, oh, he just gets it. I think he was onside as well. I think that was Taylor. Arsenal went asleep there from that set piece, and Oxford suddenly had a one-on-one there over on that far side. Matt Turner was out quickly, actually. He did well, the goalkeeper. He's actually done well every game he's played for Arsenal, apart from maybe that first one. He looked a bit shaky, didn't he? John says there, Arsenal won't make the signings that are needed. I agree 100%. I don't think we will. Ball over the top there. Really, really poor defending that from Arsenal. Taylor was almost in. Well done by the goalkeeper there. Taylor couldn't quite get enough on it to get it past the American goalkeeper. But Arsenal just went asleep from that throw. Completely went asleep. But just as well, Matt Turner wasn't asleep. Otherwise, we could have found ourselves 1-0 down. And Oxford trying to press again. That's good defending, actually, from Gabriel. And it is a goal kick now to Arsenal. Terry says there, well done, Matty T. Indeed. He was out quickly there, wasn't he? Read that situation well. And I say he's played well. I say, apart from that first game when I thought he looked a bit shaky against Zurich, wasn't it, in the Europa League, sorry. He's looked really good since then. I think he's looked solid. We saw how good he was in the World Cup, didn't we? So I do think we've got ourselves a very, very good number 2 goalkeeper who could be pushing Aaron Ramsdale for that number 1 spot, because he's done nothing wrong for me. Matt Turner's done nothing wrong. Anyway, Oxford deal with that long ball again, but Arsenal do pick up in midfield with Sambi Lokonga, finds Gabriel Martinelli having a run again up this near side. Needs a bit of help. Again, there's 2 players around him. He's done really well. Martinelli's done really well. Kenny wants to cross like decent cross, but again, there's an Oxford body in the way. They've defended for their lives in this game. And it's going to be, is it a corner or is it a throw? Not really sure what's going on there. It is a throw to Arsenal, which Kieran Tierney is going to take. Again, he's got the towel out, wiping the ball down. I think he's going to try a long throw. Kieran Tierney. We almost had an opportunity in that first half, didn't we? Eddie Nketiah poked it over. We played 5 minutes of this second half. Kieran Tierney is going to take this throw. It's not far in from the corner flag, actually, on this near side. Gabriel Martinelli's in there. Gabriel on that near post as well. The throw comes in towards the 6-yard box, headed out by Oxford. And now Oxford on a counter attack. can maybe come forward. Oh, good tackle actually there from Sambi Lecombe. In fact, it isn't because the referee has given a free kick. That was on Matty Taylor. It was, who just almost poked Oxford ahead, didn't he? Mark says there, I was right and left-footed. I could have been a right fullback for who? I could have been a right fullback for who? If you're left and right-footed, it's probably for anybody. But yeah, not many players are right and left-footed, are they, these days? Doesn't seem, really. Well, there's a lot more left-footed players I've noticed now, actually, at the top level than there used to be, which is nice to see, because I'm left-footed, so I like to see left-footed players. We've got a lot, haven't we, in our team? Anyway, there's been a Josh Murphy there has just conceded a free kick foul on Sambi Lecombe, just on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area, as he was looking to burst through. And the ball's now back with Matt Turner. Plays out to that far side to Rob Holding. John says there, the chance to win Premier League is only possible if Arsenal get in at least 2 or 3 experienced players, then playing over the summer for next season. Well, I've been saying this all the way through. 100% agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. It's exactly what we need to do if we're going to put in a serious bid to win the title. But I just don't think we will. I really don't. Well, Arsenal don't really deal with that low cross into the near post, but Tomiyasu now should get it away, but he actually doesn't. And they pick it up again. Billy Bowden over on that far side. Really good feet from Bowden. Digs out across towards the near post. Matt Turner's there. Great hands from the American. In fact, he was fouled anyway by Taylor. And it is a free kick to Arsenal. Terry says there, all them fouls, and he gives a foul for a good tackle. Yeah, I know, but what do you expect? That was a good cross actually from Bowden. He did really well there, but great hands from Matt Turner, who has had more to do at the start of the second half. We played 53 minutes. Matt Turner's been busier in his second half than he was in that first half. So Oxford have posed a lot more of a threat. And we still haven't really. I mean, again, we've had a fair amount of possession, but we've not really created any opportunity yet. Mark C says there, Vieira hasn't created much so far. Maybe hook him and put in here. So, yeah, I mean, I think Vieira's been really poor. He's not created anything, and he's been a little bit sloppy in possession a few times as well in that first half, certainly. So, yeah, I would agree with that. But how fit is ESR? How many minutes has he got in him? You know, because obviously we need him, don't we, going forward, because he's got a little bit of quality, hasn't he, that we've been lacking in recent games. So what we don't want to do is rush him back, give him too many minutes tonight, and then he gets injured again. That's the last thing that we need. I'm sure Arteta knows how many minutes he's got in him tonight. I'm thinking maybe 15, 20 perhaps at the most. I can't see him playing any more than that. You know, there's a long ball over the top, looking for Vieira. He's got him behind briefly. Plays the ball inside. That's a good ball, actually. Can we get the goal now? Bukayo Saka with a shot. Oh, it's cleared off the line. Beat the keeper. Good defending in there from behind the goalkeeper. That was nice play from Vieira that time. A back heel into Saka. Cut back inside. His shot there cleared away by Lewis Bate, the Leeds United loanee. Good play there, actually. John says there exactly, but they won't, as Kroenkes will be contempt finish. Well, of course they will, yeah. They'll definitely be contempt finish in full. Mark says there, are most English leagues, including the EPL English referees? Yeah, they are, yeah. I think they all are. I don't think there's any foreign referees, is there? No, I'm not really sure, actually. Anyway, Arsenal have got a corner over on that far side, which Bukayo Saka is going to take his left foot in towards the near post, flicked on by Martinelli. But there's Taylor behind him. It comes off the Oxford man. It's going to be another corner to Arsenal. Paul says there, get your subs on. What's Arteta waiting for? He's seen what happened to Newcastle with their second team. No, exactly. You know, Newcastle waited till they went behind, didn't they, to get the subs on? And it proved to be too late. So, yeah, I agree. Get some subs on. I would have brought on a couple of half-time, me. But some of these players do need minutes, though. You have to say they do need minutes. But they need to do more with the minutes that they've got. So we'll see. Anyway, we have got another corner. Again, it's swung towards the edge of the 6-yard box. In at the goalkeeper. Did well, actually, there, the goalkeeper, McGinty. It's going to be another corner. Almost scored straight from the corner there. It's swung in. Obviously, the wind is blowing towards that goal at the car park end. Terry says, tonight shows why Arteta don't make subs. I can't see us winning much, if anything, with our squad. No, you're right. Russ in the chat, Russ, he says, this is poor. It's very, very poor, mate. Really, really poor. Anyway, we've got another corner again. Again, it's swung in to that near post. Goalkeeper doesn't get it. He doesn't need to because Moore has headed it away. El Neni now in possession for Arsenal, but he's gone backwards in typical El Neni fashion. Yes, fan Kieran Tierney lonks the ball over the top to Gabriel Martinelli. He's done well, but again, good defending from Oxford. That was Bate again, Lewis Bates, and it's gone out for a corner again to Arsenal, this time on the near side, which Fabio Vieira is going to take. Regeneral says a third corner indeed. Kevin says, well said, Terry. We haven't a strong squad. Oh, no, we don't. The squad is weak, really, really weak. And you can see tonight, it's really weak. Anyway, we have got another corner, and let's see if we can still just about manage to find a way through. That one goes longer. It's headed on by Eddie Nketiah, I think it was, but it's gone behind, harmlessly behind. We've played 11 and a half minutes of the second half, and it is still Oxford 0, Arsenal 0. The last thing we want is really a replay at this moment in time, with everything else that we've got to worry about. The squad depth, as we've said, a lot of big games in the Premier League coming up the next few weeks, and of course Man City in the next round should we get through. John says last year Arteta wasn't bothered about being knocked out of the FA Cup, and probably the same this season. I wouldn't say. I mean, he's won the FA Cup. It's the only thing that maybe kept him in a job. A couple of years ago, the fact he'd won the FA Cup when we couldn't win a game. So I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. These players have got to do better. They've got an opportunity tonight, and they haven't done enough. None of them. And do we blame Arteta for that? Probably not. I blame the players actually. But anyway, he's bought most of them though, so maybe it is his fault. Russ says Vieira poor, yep. Lokonga poor, yep. El Neni poor, yep. Holding poor, yep. No depth, yep. I totally agree with all of that, 100%. We've been saying that all through the game. No one showed any quality tonight, and even the players who have been playing in the first team, such as Saka, Martinelli, and Nketiah, have been poor. Let's be honest, all of them have been poor. And yes, they haven't got the players around them to bring the best out of them, and that's a problem as well. The midfield tonight has been shocking. But when we saw the team sheet, I was like, well, what do you expect from that midfield? It's never been good. And, yes, you'd expect it to be good enough against a League One team. Across into the box. Oh, from Oxford there. Gabriel, good header away. They're putting us under some pressure now, Oxford. They look like they've grown in confidence. Ball into the penalty area. It's, it was a little bit too much there. He tried to do there, Billy Bowden, and Arsenal do get it away. But suddenly, Oxford are coming forward again, but Arsenal won a free kick. Intelligent play there from Kieran Brown, who's not been quite as involved in the second half as he was in the first half. That was his cross there. It was a header from Gabriel. It had to be a good header away, actually. Really, really good. John says there, no strength in depth, no plan B. And even if Arsenal get through, it's Man City next. Yeah, I mean, the good thing is we play Man City. We'll play a stronger team, won't we? Let's be honest. We'll play our first 11 and we'll probably give them a game. But yeah, it's the depth that's the problem. And I agree, plan B. Arteta doesn't want a plan B. He just wants to improve plan A. And sometimes you need a plan B, don't you? He thinks he's Pep. Pep can get away with it because Pep's got 2 or 3 good teams in his squad. 2 or 3 players with a good team, doesn't he? So, anyway. Russ says no one is stepping up. Terry says I'm poor as well. Russ, no, you're not, Terry. You're better than all of them. You, mate. Don't worry about that. Russ agrees with you. You're better than this lot, Terry. No, I totally agree. Terry's definitely better than most of these players. I'll definitely doubt about that. He certainly works a lot harder. That's one thing we've got to give him. He definitely works a lot harder. We've given the ball away again. That's Eddie Nketiah. He's been he's been absolutely useless. I thought this would be a good night for him. This is his level for me, League One. And really poor he's been tonight. Really, really poor. Mark C says El Neni is a worker, not a creator. Yep. It's Vieira who's supposed to be providing the passes for the front three, but he's not getting involved. No, he's not, because he's not good enough. And we paid 30 million for him. 30 million. Think what we could have bought for 30 million. But we got Vieira because Arteta likes him. All the subs are coming on. Oh, yes, here we go. All the strikers are coming on. Kieran Tierney's going off and Zinchenko's coming on. So a left back for a left back. And Granit Xhaka is coming on, which, yes, I did say that at half time. I felt he was the one to give us a bit of control. Kieran Tierney's going off. See, Kieran Tierney's one who needs minutes. And he's one of the first team players, isn't he? Or certainly on the brink of the first team. Sambi's going off. Sambi Lokonga. Sorry, mate, you're just not good enough. You've been here nearly 2 years. You're not good enough. And Granit Xhaka's coming on. So I think that's going to give us a bit more control in midfield because we know what Zinchenko's like. He'll drop into midfield as well, won't he? when we don't have the ball. When we have the ball, sorry, he'll drop in the midfield, won't he? So we should have a little bit more control in midfield. That's been our problem. I feel a little bit sorry for Kieran Tierney because he needs more minutes. He needs to be playing more. Anyway, Josh Murphy has just gone off for Oxford. We've played 61 minutes. He's gone off. Maybe it wasn't his night tonight. He worked hard for the team, but he just wasn't really getting involved enough. And they have brought on Wildschut, Yannick Wildschut, who is from Suriname. And he's just come on for Josh Murphy. So not a good FA Cup third round week for the Murphy brothers, was it, this weekend in the end? Mark C says Lokonga ain't improved his chances of more games. I know he hasn't. In fact, he's done the complete opposite because I think he's been really poor tonight, really poor. Anyway, Oxford in possession inside their own defensive third. Granit Xhaka's first involvement is to win the ball back off Lewis Bate. And there's a free kick there to Arsenal, a foul there from Anderson on Martinelli, who's gone down, clutching his leg. I'm sure he's not really as hurt as he appears to be. I mean, he was caught. It was a foul. Just overstretched a little bit there, Anderson, to try to win the ball. He wasn't able to, but it is a free kick to Arsenal in a dangerous position, actually. Just on the edge of the penalty area, just out on this left-hand side. It's going to be an opportunity for Fabio Vieira to see what quality he's got with a dead ball with that left foot. Some of his corners tonight haven't been great. He needs a good delivery here. Could give us an opportunity to get this lead 62.5 minutes. So we're coming up towards the midway point in his second half. And the goalkeeper still hasn't had a save to make. He hasn't had a shot on target to save, has he? The Oxford goalkeeper. He might well have now. Lokonga with this free kick. Vieira with his free kick towards the end. 6 yard header comes in and we've scored. It's Mohamed El Neni with the goal. Oh, dearie me. We never thought it'd be El Neni to score, did we? But he has. Mohamed El Neni is with a header. He said we needed a good ball from Vieira, and it was right on the money, that free kick. The first bit of quality he's shown all night, and it proves to be the difference. A close range header from about 5 yards there from Mohamed El Neni. A rare goal for him. It will be his first goal in the FA Cup. He scored in every other competition, and it is. He absolutely threw himself at that El Neni from about 6 yards. Great ball. Real quality free kick that. So about time we got some delivery. In fact, it was Tomiyasu in there as well, but it was El Neni with the touch. El Neni put it in, and it is. Kevin said there, we pay really good wages for average players, and they don't leave even when they know they're not good enough. Exactly. Terry says there, El Neni, yes. Russ says, I never had a bad thing to say about it. No, none of us did, mate. None of us did. Regina says, which I think you are strong your language against your own players. Well, I just don't think they're good enough, mate. I'm sorry. Kevin says, finally, give him a wage increase. He's just had one, hasn't he? He will need another one. Mark C says, couldn't miss. Not really, no. Regina says, go goal indeed. And Terry says, you don't make me laugh. None of you have got a clue like me and Arteta. You're right, Terry, yeah. Nathan says, a good ball in. It was. The first bit of quality he's shown for dead ball, isn't it? And he gets the goal. And Regina says, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Indeed, it is. Finally 1-0, 63 minutes it was. The goal went in. And it was all about the delivery from Vieira, actually. And that was why Arteta kept him on, to do that, because he knew he was going to produce one finally. And it was a great ball in and a great header from very close range. But suddenly now Oxford coming forward, looking to try to find a way back in. You see, he makes the substitutions and straight away, within a minute, we've scored. Anyway, Oxford coming forward now on that far side inside the Arsenal penalty area. Good tackle actually there from Tomiyasu, but not very far. Oxford coming forward again inside the box, a ball into the box. El Neni with a poor header this time. And he gets us blocking now from the shot there. It was from Wildschut, the substitute for Oxford with a shot there. El Neni's first header was poor, actually, defensive header. But he did get a blocking on that second shot. Oxford have responded well to go behind. Fair play to them. They really have responded well. But Arsenal do lead. And we have got another 25 minutes left to try and either hang on to this lead or maybe get another goal or two. But we'll see. A lot of it might depend on whether Oxford keep their heads or not. Or whether they drop their heads having worked so hard. There's another free kick conceded there by Moore. He's certainly uncompromising, isn't he? The Oxford captain. He's been just going into challenges, maybe showing some of these Premier League prima donnas what football's all about tonight, hasn't he? And he did go in hard there on the back of Fabio Vieira, who was holding the back of his head, although he looked like he got hit more in the back. But anyway, it was a very, very firm challenge from the Oxford captain. And it is going to be a free kick to Arsenal midway inside the Oxford half, just slightly over to that right-hand side. I don't know whether Vieira maybe fancied this one as well. His last delivery was really good, wasn't it? So let's see if he can maybe deliver another one as well. A very rare goal for Mohamed El Neni. And I think that might well be his first goal in the FA Cup for us, actually. I mean, he couldn't miss, as Mark said, really. I mean, he was, 4 or 5 yards out. It was a good ball. It's all about the free kick, all about the delivery. And El Neni just had to get something on it and direct it into the goal, which he did. And finally, Arsenal lead. And that's the first goal we've ever scored in this all-white kit. It took us a game and 3 quarters to do so. But we've got one finally. And who would have put their money on Mohamed El Neni scoring the goal as well? Probably not too many people. You know, it's good to see Pat Rice in at the stands tonight for Arsenal. That's the first time we've scored away at Oxford since 1984 as well, which is nice, isn't it? Previous 3 visits to this city, we have not scored. 2 0-0 draws and a 3-0 defeat. Mark C says there, he was nowhere near winning that. He went through Vieira just because he felt like, exactly, yeah, he did. He was nowhere going to win the ball. He didn't even try to win the ball, did he? Terry says, I wonder if they'll ask Arteta to play Superman in the next blockbuster movie. Well, quite possibly. He would be a good Superman, wouldn't he, actually? Arteta. Anyway, it's a free kick to Arsenal. Granit Xhaka takes it over to that far side, but it was a strange ball. And Rob Holding was offside, or his new hair was anyway. "68 minutes on the clock. Oxford 0, Arsenal 1. We are 22 minutes away from reaching the 4th round for only the second time since we won the Cup in 2020. And we haven't gone beyond that round since. And it's not going to be any easier, is it? Man City coming up, of course, in the next round. Should we see this through? But Oxford coming forward again. They've got a throw over on that far side. They've certainly not given this up, Oxford. And I think from their perspective, they probably just wanted to keep themselves in the game for as long as possible. And they are still in the game now, aren't they? And they've got this long throw, which Kieran Brown is going to take, the left back, long throw towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Header from Rob Holding. Edge of the box, a shot comes in, it's deflected, but it's going to fall into the arms of Matt Turner. And Oxford there threatening an equaliser, but Matt Turner's throw has released Martinelli down his near side. He's gone past one challenge, Gabriel Martinelli, but he's got 2 players out again. They worked so hard, actually. That was Bate again. Lewis Bate, the Leeds player on loan, has had a great game as well in midfield for Oxford tonight. And he did really well there against Martinelli. They're still in possession, actually. Billy Bowden, that ball square from Brannigan. And now it's back with Anderson. This is a good play from Oxford now. Brannigan again up this near side. That's a good ball up the line, actually. Finds Billy Bowden. He's got Gabriel for company. Bowden holds him off well. Finds Brannigan again. Little touch off back to Bowden. So Oxford certainly haven't given this up. They certainly still feel they can get back into this. Mark C says, is that Kevin Campbell sat next to Keogh? I didn't see that, actually. I didn't see that. I saw David Platt. David Platt has put some derby on. He certainly has. And Arsenal coming forward again. A ball played through to Eddie Nketiah. He's rounded the keeper. That's 2-0. That seals it. That's what Eddie does. He's been absolutely rubbish for most of this game, but give him a chance like that and generally he'll stick it away. Rounded the keeper, tucked it away. And I think there may be another assist for Fabio Vieira, if I'm not mistaken. A ball played through to him again, and suddenly from nowhere, or was it El Neni actually with that assist potentially? Lovely ball, actually. Really, really good ball it was. And it is another... It was El Neni. It was El Neni with the pass. It was a really, really good pass, actually. Defence splitting ball. Not great defending, has to be said, from Oxford. But Eddie was alive and alert. Got onto that ball really well. In fact, it was Fabio Vieira with a pass. 2 assists for Fabio Vieira. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, from being rubbish for 60 minutes, he suddenly set up 2 goals. And Eddie came to life there. Took it round the keeper, slotted it away. That's 2-0. That's game over. We are in the fourth round. Man City, we are coming for you. I'm telling you. Virginia says that Eddie has scored. Indeed, he has. Terry says Eddie never lets you down. John says the FA Cup means so much to Football League teams. They play their hearts. And they do, yeah, especially when they're playing Premier League teams. Of course they do. Virginia says scored. Indeed. Mark says, yes, another Vieira assist. Indeed, it was. Virginia says Eddie. Indeed, yeah, good old Eddie. Say he's not had a great game, but he is a live wire in the box, isn't he? And surely those 2 quick goals have sent us into that fourth round and a meeting with some little team that no one's ever heard of called Manchester City. That's going to be fun, isn't it? But I say I look on that as a big opportunity for us to really show how we've improved. You know, going away to a club like that. What was that? 2? Is that 2 shots on target and 2 goals in bed? I think that's it, isn't it? Mark C says, "Yeah, you think we'll play this 11 versus City?" I do hope not, because it will be more. It will be as embarrassing as Chelsea yesterday, won't it? If we do, I think we'll play pretty much our full strength team against them. We've got to, haven't we? Come on, let's be honest. If we don't, then we are asking for a big hammering. Because even if Man City rest half their team, we know what their squad depth's like. If we're going to have any chance of winning that game, we have got to go strong and play most of our first team. We've got to. But let's see what happens. We can worry about that in a few weeks' time. We've got some big Premier League games to come, haven't we, before that? Before we can get worried about the Man City Cup game, we've got some really, really big games coming up, and we're none bigger, of course, than this weekend. The North London derby. And Oxford coming forward now, looking to try to find a way back into it. A good run down that far side. Oh, the ball's just been overrun. It was an enterprising one. In fact, it's going to be a corner, is it, to Oxford? Great run that was. I think it was a substitute wild shoot there with that run. Rob Holding did well to get back. It is going to be a corner to Oxford. Good run that was by the substitute there. Terry says, no way. Drop Saka and Martinelli against City. Well, I don't know about that. John says, yeah, if he doesn't play a strong 11, Man City will hammer Arsenal. Indeed, they will, yeah. It will be like the Chelsea game yesterday, won't it? Let's be honest. Anyway, Saka's gone down again, which is a worry when you look at what we've got coming up at the weekend. Anyway, Oxford are going to make 2 more substitutions. Gaitlin O'Donker is going to come on, and Tyler Goodrum as well. 2 very young players for Oxford going to get a taste of FA Cup action against Premier League side. Big occasion for these 2 young players. Good to see them getting a go. I mean, Tyler Goodrum looks about 15. He's probably older than that. Anyway, Saka's gone down. This is a worry, actually. And he may well have to go off. Is he going to be fit for Sunday? I know he tends to recover quickly, doesn't he? But this doesn't look good. He's gone down a couple of times tonight, and the physio is in contact with the bench. I would take him off. This game's won. Let's save him now for Saturday. We don't need him to play these last 20, 15 minutes, do we? Get him off and give him a rest so he's fit for the weekend. And in fact, Smith Rowe coming on. Good to see Emil Smith Rowe back from injury. And it is going to be Saka to go off and Smith Rowe to come on. Great to see Smith Rowe back in action. It's been a long time, hasn't it, since he's played. He's back. Let's see what impact he can make. Get some minutes under his belt as well ahead of these really big games coming up over the next few weeks. Anyway, it's a corner to Oxford over on the far side. Looks to try and get a goal back here, which could make it an interesting last 15 minutes. Good header away from Gabriel, who's actually done that a couple of times tonight. Good at defending from him. Mark says there, subs when we sign players instead of average players coming off, we strengthen their squad, we'll bring on equally good or better players. No, exactly, right. Mark C says there, on the plus side, we ain't played well, but winning. Exactly, yeah, I agree with that. And Mark says there, and we'll have equally good players on the field. That's what we want. Yeah, that's what you need, don't you? Like Man City have got. If we want to be serious, that's what we've got to do. And Virginia says, well, if that's rubbish, that's brilliant. Well, we haven't played well. Let's be honest, we haven't. But we're going to get the run there. Mark says, who's come off? It's Saka. Saka went off. He looked a little bit injured, actually. Anyway, Martinelli now. I think maybe Oxford have run out of legs a little bit. Martinelli plays it through to Nketiah. Is it going to be 3-0? It is 3-0. That's a lovely finish, actually, from Eddie Nketiah. He didn't do much for 65 minutes. He's now got himself 2 goals. And Arsenal are definitely through now into the 4th round. And the goals have come all in the second half, all quite late. El Neni and now 2 from Eddie and Ketia. That was a nice finish. It was Martinelli there. Arsenal won the ball back. Oxford pushing on a little bit now. 2-0 down. Lovely ball from Martinelli. He was just onside as well, Eddie and Ketia. Nice little touch and then just a little dink past the goalkeeper. It's what he's good at, Eddie, isn't he? He's a really good little finisher when he gets those opportunities there. It was not an easy chance, actually. He took it really well. And Martinelli with that assist and a nice little dink finish there. Waiting for the keeper to go down and just dinked it past him. Really cool. Just inside that near post. And Eddie's got himself 2 goals. And, well, good stat. Terry says, John, have faith. We only need Super Eddie and Holding at the back. City will crumble under that sort of pressure. Yeah, I'm sure they will. Terry says, Eddie, Super Eddie. Paul says, yes. Rajandra there, a second goal Eddie indeed. Mark C says, cool finish. It was a cool finish. Really cool finish. Really, really. In fact, it's 2 good finishes from Eddie, isn't it? One of them took it around the keeper, and that one there, a little dink. Oxford have made their substitutions now. It is Tyler Goodrum and Gaitlin Odonka. What a great name he's got, by the way. Anyway, them 2 have come on now for Oxford. I haven't seen who's gone off. Anyway, Oxford coming forward now, looking for what would only surely be a consolation now. Smith Rowe just lays that ball off to Vieira, who certainly had a lot better second half, hasn't he? But still not really good enough overall, if we're honest. But anyway, we've got the job done tonight. It's Matty Taylor and Billy Bowden that have both gone off, actually. So that's fine. Terry says, bring on City. Watch Eddie tear them apart. Who needs Haaland? Well, yeah. Will Haaland play? He didn't play in the last round, did he? So let's see. Paul says, I've got Arsenal handicap 1 and Arsenal handicap 2. Oh, there you go. So you'll be happy with that, won't you? It is Oxford 0, Arsenal 3. We're into the last 13 minutes of this game. It's been a struggle for Arsenal for a long spell, but once the goal came, it sort of opened the floodgates a little bit, and there's no chance of a shock now, which I'm sure the TV are a little bit gutted about because they like a good shock, don't they? Especially if it's Arsenal on the end of it. Anyway, it's a free kick, throw to Oxford over on that far side. And maybe it was mentioned, wasn't it, in the first half? I can't remember who said it now, that they may run out of legs in the second half. And yes, I think they have maybe run out of legs a little bit, unfortunately for them. And I say the superior fitness of the Premier League has run out on top, as you'd probably expect, let's be honest. Anyway, there's a header there into the penalty area. Matt Turner does a rather dramatic jump over the ball. It is going to be a goal kick to Arsenal. Carl Robinson, the Oxford manager, looking a little bit frustrated there, but he should be pleased with his team, actually. He should be proud of the effort that they've shown. They've certainly given a good account of themselves tonight. And, yeah, he should be proud of his team. And I'm sure he is. Arsenal now, they're trying to play out from the back. Arsenal in total control. It did take them 3 subs, though, didn't it? Although it was only moments afterwards. It did take the 3 subs to finally swing the game in our favour. Granit Xhaka just lays it off to Gabriel. Arsenal now looking in complete control. Zinchenko on this near side hasn't really been much involvement as yet. Granit Xhaka on the ball now. But it maybe has given us that little bit of extra control in midfield. And I think that's what's ultimately proved to be decisive. So it looks like Smith Rowe's gone to the left. And Martinelli's moved over to the right now since Saka went off. Tomiyasu now in possession for Arsenal over on that far side, plays the ball infield to Zinchenko inside the centre circle forward, laid off there by Granit Xhaka in to El Neni. It was his first goal there that really got us going. John says, okay, Terry, I trust your faith in him. I think he might have. I sense a little bit of sarcasm in Terry's comments there, but we'll see. Mark C says, if Oxford were to win this now, it would be the greatest comeback since Rob Holding's hair. Yeah, Rob Holding's certainly had a good comeback, hasn't it? And it's looking very, very smart, I have to say. Mark says, if we sign young players, do they start or come on as subs to replace equally good players, older players coming off? Well, I don't know. You'd imagine that the young players would probably not start in the first 11. They'd have to work their way in, but I don't know. Anyway, also coming forward again, Gabriel Martinelli on that far side. Is Eddie going to get a hat-trick, or is it going to be Smith Rowe? Can he get a goal on his comeback? Oh, it was deflected just wide. Smith Rowe there, almost with a goal on his comeback game. Wouldn't that have been a great moment for him? Martinelli it was with a cross. It was stuck between his feet a little bit. It was on target, actually, and it just got deflected wide. Smith Rowe nearly got his first goal of the season, actually. Terry says, El Neni Pele running midfield now. He is now. He's got Granit Xhaka with him. Anyway, 2 more subs for Arsenal. Ben White is coming on for Tomiyasu. He played well, Tomiyasu, in the end, I suppose. He did all right, didn't he? And Marquinhos is coming on as well. And Fabio Vieira is going off. 2 assists for him, actually. He didn't have a very good first half, did he? But he put 2 assists, which has proved decisive in the end. So fair play to Vieira in the end. And he's now gone off. And Marquinhos is coming on. It is a corner on this near side, which Smith Rowe's going to take. It was his shot that won the corner, but we're just going to make this substitution now. Marquinhos is coming on for Vieira, and that is another substitution there for Arsenal. John says there 3-0 is a comfortable win. Did Oxford run out of steam? Yeah, I think they did, to be fair. And I just think, 2 bits of quality gave us them first 2 goals, didn't they, from Vieira? He didn't do much else, but 2 bits of quality when it matters, and that's sometimes what match winners do, don't they? They produce that quality. Terry says that RESR should have scored. Yeah, he should have done. It got stuck between his feet a little bit, didn't it? But it was an effort that was on target. It just deflected off the defender Anderson. And now Oxford have won a free kick just inside the centre circle. We're into the last 8 minutes of normal time. It is going to be a comfortable win for Arsenal in the end. We've had to work hard for it, though, and credit Oxford for that. They've played well. And they haven't let their heads drop. They're still going. They're in possession now, looking to try to get a consolation goal back. I'm sure Matt Turner wants a clean sheet, though, doesn't he? Hasn't really done anything wrong tonight. Hasn't a lot to do, but what he's had to do, he's done well, Matt Turner, again. Decent performance from him tonight. I say, can we get that clean sheet? Paul says, yeah, your subs done it. Yeah, they made a difference, didn't they, the subs? They're also coming forward now. Cross there, hits the head of Gabriel. It's gone behind for a corner. And that was one of the substitutes there. Was that O'Donker? I think that was O'Donker there, the substitute. Did well there, but it's a corner to Oxford on this near side. Can they find a consolation in these last 7 minutes? The corner taken quickly there by Bate. Good play again. Across comes in towards the edge of 6-yard box, headed out by Granit Xhaka, I think it was. A shot from distance there, high over the crossbar from Brannigan. And there's 2 more subs for Oxford. We have got Joshua Johnson's coming on. And I don't know who the other one is. But Joshua Johnson, another young player for Oxford, who's coming on for Marcus McGuinn. And Kieran Brown's going off as well. He had a good game, actually, Kieran Brown, the left back. Certainly in the first half, he was brilliant. He's now gone off. And Brandon Fleming is coming on for Oxford. Number 3 he's wearing. He's a new signing, I think, for them as well. He might be on loan, actually, to be fair. John says, good run out before next Sunday and get a win v Spurs. Well, that's the plan, I'm sure. It's got to, hasn't it, the plan to get a win against Spurs? Let's hope so. Terry says, Xhaka made a massive difference. The average player seems to have improved massively since he came on. It's that control in midfield, isn't it? That's what we were lacking before. And he's obviously come on and given us that more control. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I think I lost my signal, but I'm back. Sorry about that. Just disappeared. But no, you're right. Xhaka did make a difference. I say he's given us that extra control in midfield. And I think that's maybe what swung the game in the end in our favour. So, yeah, that's good to see. Paul says, yeah, he did. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Arsenal got a little bit of defending to do now as we move into the last 5 minutes of this FA Cup 3rd round tie at the Kassam Stadium. It is Oxford 0, Arsenal 3. Arsenal are through to the 4th round and a meeting away at Manchester City. El Nenny's just done a poor ball there to Zinchenko. It's gone out for a throw to Oxford on this near side. It's been a mixed night for El Nenny, hasn't it? He got the goal, the first goal, the important one. He's made 1 or 2 sloppy mistakes in midfield as well, actually, in this game. So it's a big mixed night for him. A mixed night for a few of these Arsenal players, actually. Terry says, proof of Mitchell has gone. Yeah, I'm back now, though, mate. I did disappear. My signal just went. I don't know what happened to it. Just suddenly, I've gone. But anyway, let's like magic. I went and I'm back again. So there you go. But luckily, we didn't miss a goal or anything, did we? But yeah. So I think it's been a bit of a mixed night for Arsenal, if I'm honest. We haven't been brilliant. A lot of players, a lot of those squad players wasn't quite up to the job, but we've got it done in the end, and we've got the victory, and we can start hopefully what could become a really exciting FA Cup run. If we can get past Man City, who knows? That's one of the big boys out of the way, isn't it? Clears the decks for us. Newcastle already out, they're third. Man City are second. We knocked them out. That's two of them out of the way. You know, it's just Man United and Spurs, really, isn't it? But we went out. Chelsea have gone already as well. So another, not that they're doing well, but they're still a big name, I suppose, aren't they? John says, the pressure will be on next Sunday as Man City will be playing before Arsenal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'll be the first time, won't it, actually, for a long time that I can remember that. We normally are playing first, aren't we? So we're getting an extra lead on, and you know it will be different if Man City win, which you'd imagine they'll have a great chance of winning. But they've got a tough game as well, haven't they? So certainly won't take it for quite a good run down this near side actually by Odonka. He's just won a free kick. He's been pretty lively since he's come on, actually, the young player for Oxford there. He got in between two players. It was Zinchenko there who brought him down on the edge of the box. And it's a free kick for Oxford. They've got an opportunity in these last 3 minutes to get themselves a consolation goal, which in many ways you could say they possibly deserve. And we not really as bothered anymore, are we? Because we've won. But I'm sure Matt Turner will be bothered. He'll want that clean sheet, won't he? Anyway, this free kick here from this near side, just outside the Arsenal penalty area. I mean, it's a funny angle, but you certainly could whip one in there if you've got a decent left foot. I don't know who's going to take this. A couple of Oxford players over this ball. Let's have a look and see if this is going to come to anything here for Oxford. The free kick in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Header comes in, but it's going to be a comfortable catch for Matt Turner. And he gets a bit closer to that clean sheet that he'll be after. He's had a few clean sheets this season, a few games that he's played, hasn't he? Anyway, Arsenal now in possession. El Neni plays the ball forward to Eddie Nketiah. Still got a chance of a hat-trick, Eddie, hasn't he, in these last couple of minutes to put the seal on this night with a hat-trick from him. He's got 2 goals, of course, 2 very neat finishes, actually, you have to say. Really good finishes from Eddie tonight. That ball played into Martinelli, lays it off to Granit Xhaka. Now it's played to Gabriel. 2 minutes left of normal time here at the Kassam Stadium. There'll be a bit of stoppage time. There's been obviously a lot of substitutions made in the second half. El Neni now coming forward. Arsenal are looking for a 4th goal, which maybe be a little bit harsh on Oxford, if we're honest, because they've worked hard. Eddie now, though, he'll be wanting another goal for his hat-trick. Tries a shot from distance this time. Would have been a totally different goal to the previous 2. It's been deflected away, and it's going to be a 2 Arsenal in front of the fans. The away fans are over in that far corner. It is going to be Ben White with this throw, and Eddie's still got time for that hat-trick, isn't he? I'm sure he'll be desperate for it. John says, yeah, Matt Turner is holding his own. Not a bad sign to have a second choice. No, he's really good. I think he's been really good. I'm really impressed with him, actually. Zinchenko now have a little bit of space. Can Zinchenko get a shot away? He can. It's gone over the top into the car park. He didn't quite go into the car park, actually. It hit the scoreboard behind the goal. Eddie Nketiah has got player of the match. I mean, 2 great goals, and they've made a difference in this game. Was he the best player on the pitch tonight? I'm not really sure that he was, but he did get 2 very good goals, and he's just got player of the match. I mean, it'd be difficult, actually, to pick a player of the match, if we're honest. Certainly no one for Arsenal stood out over the 90 minutes. Everybody's had moments in the game. Eddie's had 2 big moments that he took really well. Is that enough to win player of the match? I'm not really sure, but anyway, fair play to him. And he's got himself 2 goals as well. And still, there's, 30 seconds of normal time left, a few minutes of stoppage time. He could still get himself a hat-trick. Matt Turner there, header back to him there from Gabriel. El Neni now put under pressure, does well. And Arsenal now looking to come forward over on that far side with Ben White, touches it back to Rob Holding. And it goes back again to Matt Turner into Zinchenko. Matt Turner slipped there as he kicked that ball. The Oxford fans enjoyed that behind the goal. Anyway, we've played the 90 minutes. We haven't quite seen 2 minutes of stoppage time is all they're giving us, 2 minutes. So Eddie's only got 2 more minutes to try and get that hat-trick if he's going to manage it tonight. He did get a hat-trick, of course, in the Carabao Cup last season, didn't he, against Sunderland? Game that we won 5-1 at the Emirates. So I'm sure he would love to get another hat-trick tonight, wouldn't he? But time is certainly against him on that score. But Arsenal are still in possession now with El Neni plays it to Ben White over that far side. Arsenal coming forward again. Marquinhos plays it square to Elneny, gets it back again. The Brazilian. That's a nice. Oh, it's almost a nice ball. Looking for Martinelli, but Oxford do bring it away. Martinelli wins it back though. Brilliant play from him actually. Terry says there, Elneny gliding up the pitch with the ball. Looks like Fred Astaire and a touch of Ginger Rogers. He certainly was gliding up there, wasn't he? Like taller indeed. John says there, suppose he got 2 goals. They haven't much to choose. Well, no, you're right. It is difficult to pick a man of the match in this game. Certainly from Arsenal, obviously, you can't really give it to an Oxford player when they're losing 3-0. And yeah, difficult. No Arsenal players really stood out, you have to say. But yeah, maybe 2 goals really, 2 assists for Fabio Vieira. They would have probably been the 2 favourites for it, perhaps. But anyway, he's got it. Fair play to him. He did take his goals really, really well. And that is what he's good at. Anyway, we are there to the last 30 seconds of stoppage time. So if he's going to get his hat-trick, it's going to have to come very, very soon. Smith Rowe now in possession for Arsenal, bringing the ball forward. Plays it out to that far side. It wasn't a good ball, actually. You can see he's a little bit rusty, Smith Rowe, isn't he, since he's come on. Kevin says there, thanks, Richard C. So no, cheers, mate. Thanks for tuning in again, mate. Hope you're well. And look forward to seeing you on the next one. There goes the full-time whistle. It's all over. It has finished here at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford 0, Arsenal 3. All the goals came in the second half. In the second half of the second half as well. Mohamed Elneny gave us the lead just after the hour mark. It was a free kick from the left-hand side from Vieira. Really good quality ball, actually. And Elneny was there from about 5 yards to head home past the goalkeeper. Had no chance. That seemed to settle us down after that. We got a second goal soon after. Again, it was Vieira with the assist. A lovely first-time through ball to Eddie, ran through, took it round goalkeeper McGinty, slotted home to make it 2-0. And that was sort of 5 minutes later. And then towards the end, Eddie got the third goal as well. It was a nice ball played through to him by, I can't remember who played that through ball to him now. I think, was it Zinchenko? Anyway, it was a nice little finish there from Eddie. Just dinked it over the goalkeeper. He waited for the goalkeeper to make his move and then just dinked it over him and rolled it into the net. Nice cool finish to make it 3-0. Oxford gave everything, actually. They worked really hard. They closed us down early. They made it difficult for us. They didn't really create too many chances. They lacked a little bit of quality, didn't they, in that final third? But they certainly worked hard. They were defensively solid and just maybe ran out of legs in that second half. As I say, the superior fitness of the Premier League proved to be enough. John says, if Nketiah scores v Spurs, no one can say anything about him. Well, let's hope he does score against Spurs. It'd be great, wouldn't it? Terry says, yes, good win. Now let's go and turn Spurs and City. Oh, yeah, that's what we need to do. John says, job done, so we can't complain. No, not complaining. Nathan says, enjoyed your commentary doing the Spurs game. Yeah, I'm doing the Spurs game on Sunday. Definitely. In fact, I'm doing 2 games on Sunday because the Arsenal women play Chelsea at 12 o'clock on Sunday. So I'll be doing that game first, and then the North London derby, it's half 4, isn't it? So we'll be doing that one as well. So I've got a busy day Sunday. There's a load more coming up on the channel, actually, the rest of this week. Tomorrow, we've got the Arsenal review show live. I'll be here with the guests. We'll be looking back at the Newcastle game. We'll be looking back at this game as well. Oxford looking ahead to Spurs, of course, as well. And no doubt discussing the transfer window as well. That's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So please join us for that. Wednesday, Melvin's back with Highbury Matters show, looking at, I think it's 84 to 86, that period in the mid-80s for Arsenal, which wasn't a great time on the pitch, but some great memories from Highbury on that show on Wednesday. So that's going to be really good. So join in for that. Thursday, Adam and Steve are here for the social extra. Some fun stuff there, looking at all the social media stuff from the last week or so. Again, the transfer window, the North London derby, loads of stuff on there. So join us for that. And then, say, Sunday is the big one. Big Sunday, Arsenal women against Chelsea women, kicking off at 12 o'clock. I'll be live at 11:45 for that one. And then the North London derby. Hopefully we'll be still smiling from the women's game. 4:30 kickoff on Sunday afternoon. Tottenham against Arsenal. That is going to be massive. So join me for that as well. Paul says there, good commentary. We'll subscribe. Oh, thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate that. He says, hope you win the league. If you're ever watching Newcastle YouTubers, watch the Toon Review. I'm always, mate, I've been watching the Toon Review for about 2 years now. I have to say that Paul on there and Billy, they've been a real inspiration for me, actually, on this channel. I really love what they do. It's a great channel, the Toon Review, absolutely brilliant. I've been a subscriber over there for a long time. And yeah, great bunch of guys, and yeah, really good channel. I do enjoy them. Terry says there, 100% Nathan, we don't miss a game even if it's been called off. Well, yeah, sometimes when they're called off, it's not so much fun though, is it? John says, hi Paul, there's an excellent channel and I tune in when I can. Yeah, that is really good. Yeah, the Toon Review is a brilliant channel. It is. I think it's certainly my favourite non-Arsenal channel. In fact, it's better than a lot of the Arsenal channels that I watch, if I'm totally honest. I think it's brilliant. And yeah, no doubt, Paul, we'll see you in the chat over there, because I'm always over there putting comments in on some of the shows when I'm around. Obviously, a lot of the shows sometimes go out at the same time I'm on air, so it can be difficult. But yeah, Paul's a great guy. Billy's a great guy. Billy was on this channel actually last week for a preview of the Newcastle game. And that was a good show. He's been on a few times, Billy. He's a great guy, Billy, actually. Really, really good. John says there, good night, Richard, Terry, Nathan, and Paul. Yeah, cheers, Paul. John, sorry, we'll see you very soon. So the Beatles, isn't it? Paul, John, Ringo. Anyway, good to see you again. Hope you're well, mate. And I'll see you. Hopefully, we've got a lot of shows this week coming up, so I'm sure we'll see you very soon. Majanda says, great show, but too critical. I think we just want to, we just want maybe a little bit better in the squad. That's all, Rajendra. We don't want to be critical too much, but when you see the first 11 playing and how good they are, and you look at the players that are on the bench and the replacements, and they're not up to the standard that we need them to be, because we've got a great chance to win the league this year, in the position that we're in, and we need better players on the bench to help us do that. We had enough tonight to change things, but that's because we had a strong bench, didn't we? And you can see what difference a strong bench makes. It can turn an average performance into a good performance and a good victory, and that's what we need more of in the Premier League. So, yeah, we got the job done, and that's it. Terry says, is Billy the bloke you had on last week? Yeah, he is. Yeah, Billy was on last week. Yeah, Newcastle. What a great guy he is as well. Brilliant. John says there, thanks again, Richard. Excellent commentary. No, thank you, John, for tuning in. It's all about you guys in the chat for me. Terry says, good night, John. Take care, mate. See you soon. Yeah. And I say the same to everyone for watching. Thank you very much, everybody. And please give it a like before you go as well. Of course, that does help. But if you are new, like Paul and Nathan, please subscribe to the channel as well. Again, that all helps. We had a good 2022 on the channel. We really did grow a lot. And we're hoping that 2023 is going to be even better. We managed to get the channel monetized in 2022. We're not really doing much at the minute, but it's a slow process, isn't it? But we're getting there, and hopefully 2023 will be even better. We've got some new ideas planned for shows later on in the year, but for now we're going to, keep going with the shows that you've been enjoying this season. Nathan says, cool, I'll tune in. Enjoy the rest of your night. Yeah, you too, mate. I'll see you in the morning at work. Look forward to that. It was good fun today, wasn't it? We had some good fun. It'll be better tomorrow as well, I'm sure. We've done all of that there. We've gone through all the comments there. Yeah. So yeah, brilliant stuff. So thank you to everyone for watching. It's been a good show, even though the performance wasn't fantastic for a lot of that game in the end. As I think Mark said, didn't he, earlier on, that Wood Oxford ran out of legs in the second half. And we got the arse. Yes, they did a little bit, didn't they? Once that first goal went in, there was only ever going to be one outcome. And it's proved to be a comfortable Arsenal victory in the end. Say not the greatest ever performance, but I think we've learnt, maybe not learnt anything new, but it's reinforced what we already knew, that some of these squad players just aren't really at the level that we need for where we want to be heading now, where the club are moving in that direction we're moving in. Unfortunately, some of these players aren't good enough. And we've seen that again tonight, and that's an issue that we need to address. It is January, the transfer window's open. We need to address that, don't we? So, but we got the job done ultimately. We've seen some shocks, haven't we? Look how Newcastle got on against Sheffield Wednesday, Aston Villa yesterday to Stevenage. So we got the job done, and that's what we hope for. I'm sure, I know before the game I gave a prediction of 2-0, but I'm sure on the show last week I said 3-0 on the review show last Monday. I'll have to check back into it. But anyway, we did get the job done comfortably in the end, but it certainly wasn't a comfortable night. We had to work hard for it. And I say fair play to Oxford. I thought they played well. They certainly gave it a good go, didn't they? And they did League One, and they did their manager proud. and that's all they could have asked for. So well done, Oxford. But it is Arsenal that go through. Oxford United 0, Arsenal 3. It was Mohamed El Neni with the first goal, and then Eddie Nketiah with the final 2. All the goals came in the last half an hour, and some brilliant finishes from Eddie Nketiah actually. So that was good. So well played to Arsenal in the end. I say well done, Oxford, as well. And I say good luck for the rest of your season, Oxford. I hope you do well. I know you're down the league at the minute, but you could still make the playoffs again. But yeah, well done tonight. So thank you to everyone for watching. Terry says we got the job done. That's all that matters at this stage. But definitely need to have players badly tonight. Exactly, yeah, they did. And that's what these games are about, maybe, aren't they? Getting the job done, which we've done, and learning that the squad needs to be improved. And overall, that's what's happened. So yeah. So anyway, thank you very much everybody for watching. Mark C says later chaps, and yourself, mate. Thank you for watching. See you very soon. I say we're back tomorrow with the Arsenal review. I'm here. Melvin, I think, it's coming on. Adam may be coming on. Maybe Neil, Steve. It's going to be a good show, actually. Lots to talk about, obviously. The last 2 games, Newcastle game, this game, and looking ahead to that big one on Sunday, the North London derby, Tottenham against Arsenal. Wow, we're looking forward to that, aren't we? Let's hope that we can put in a performance and get a win. We haven't won away at Tottenham for a while, have we? It's about time we sorted that out. Terry says, Richard, have a good rest of your night. See you soon. And say hi to Mum. Yeah, I will do. Yeah, she'll say hi back as well. So that's that then. Oxford 0, Arsenal 3. We're through to the 4th round, and we've got an even easier tie in the next game, haven't we? Man City away. Don't worry about that. That's no problem. I'm sure we'll be in the 5th round as well. So that's it tonight then. Thank you for watching, everyone. Don't forget, give it a like, please, before you leave. If you are new and you haven't done so, please consider subscribing. We cover the women as well, women's football we love on this channel, and of course all the men's stuff as well. And we have some great guests. We have some great hosts as well on this channel. So it's all good stuff. And obviously we want you to be a part of the little team we've got here, a little group that we've got. It's a fun channel. We have a lot of good laughs as well. And we also deal with the serious issues that are going on at our club. And at the moment, some of those serious issues involve the transfer market, the transfer window, which we need to be active in. I'm sure they're doing some work behind the scenes, and I'm sure we'll hear all the good news that are coming soon. Maybe before the show tomorrow, we might have a new signing to announce. Who knows? But if not, hopefully we'll have something to tell you very soon. But thank you for watching tonight. It's been fun. I really enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. It did finish Oxford 0, Arsenal 3. We're in the 4th round, and that's nice because we didn't get in the 4th round last year. We finally ended our white kit jinx as well. 3 goals, 3 well taken goals, and we're through. And job done. That's all we can hope for, isn't it? So I'll see you all tomorrow. Terry says, what a fantastic Sunday coming up. Sunday's going to be mad, mate. Mad. Arsenal women against Chelsea at the Emirates, and then Tottenham against Arsenal. I mean, what a day. What a day of London derbies. Brilliant stuff. And it's going to be fantastic on the channel on Sunday. So don't forget all the shows in between, but definitely you want to be here Sunday because that is going to be epic. So anyway, thank you very much everyone for watching. We'll be back tomorrow 8 o'clock with the Arsenal review. Please join us for that if you can. In the meantime, as always, come on you Gunners, and I will see you on the next one. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching. Real Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the 3rd goal? It is the 3rd goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That's easy.